You're watching Force 13's live streaming service. Welcome back to day 2 of Hurricane Week 2022. Wow, that never gets old, does it? Beautiful intro. And we are back once again. My name's Nathan Foy here in the studio at Force 13 HQ, and what a great time it is to be back here with you again. And tonight we've got loads more interesting little features and big features tonight on Hurricane Week. Well then, before that, I've been gate crashed by some of our team members. I have been joined, let me find the right button, here by, oh well that didn't work, you'll see them in a minute. But we've been joined by Ethan and Lucas, who have taken it upon themselves to do something pretty special tonight, I am told. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, Lucas and I are doing a group flight simulator flight. He's doing one on Infinite Flight on his phone, and I'm doing one on Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Of course they're flying.
But we're both doing the same route. We're taking off from Dallas. No, it's actually Houston, actually, that we're taking off from.
Houston Hobby to Dallas Love Field, and Dallas Love Field to Indy.
I see.
So I think I call it the Great Race to Indianapolis. That'll be cool.
Exciting stuff, and that will take place throughout the night, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
How long do you think it will take?
About 4 hours.
About 4 hours, and that's how long we're supposed to be running for tonight. 4 hours of all kinds of stuff. First thing will be to take a look at our next 20 in the top 100, so we're looking at number 80 to 61. That's coming up in just a hot second. And then we've got a couple of animations tonight. As I said last night, if you're a 2018 fan, then there is something coming up for you tonight. We also have our first 2 episodes of the Super Cyclone Challenge. We've got 2 people lined up, ready and waiting to take on the... I don't know, there's not really anything to take on, but for the chance to win, you know, their weight in gold or their mile per hour in money, basically. And also, oh, what's going on? You're going?
Rolling down runway 13 left. We're taking off.
Yikes, Ethan, he's well ahead of you, even though we can't see his screen. And also...
Wait, did I share my screen?
No. Also, later on tonight, we've got more monthly summaries. We're taking a look at the early months of 2022. And Ethan's going to be really excited about that. He regretted missing yesterday.
I did. And
we're also looking at a raft of new Cyclone discoveries tonight as well. We'll be having a little natter about all kinds of new things that we found out in the last year, some of which obviously has made the cut onto our top 100. There's a few storms that we didn't really know about until now. Seven is also with us right now. We've just got a few moments at the start here, so Seven, anything you'd like to say?
I'm pretty excited to see what kind of animations are coming up, because even I don't know about them.
Yes, a lot of things have been kept under wraps, and I know sometimes the secrecy can backfire.
Everyone knows I'm looking forward to Thursday.
There we go.
And with the fact that people don't know what's coming, they sort of might not be interested because they don't know it's there. But we're taking some calculated risks. Seven's already in, not Seven. Lucas is already in the air, and Ethan is still stuck. But that's.
I gotta do a fast taxi here.
But that's really not going to be the main feature, but we will be catching up with them later on. But coming up now is our second main section of Hurricane Week, and that is my Top 100 Part 2, number 80 through 61. Let's go to it now. Tokyo, Japan, September 1947. A tropical depression formed down in the main part of the western Pacific Ocean and became quickly a typhoon, Typhoon Kathleen, which then moved northwards and then shot off towards the northeast, weakening before making landfall in the Tokyo region of Japan, and was only a tropical storm by the time it got there. But this storm goes to show that it doesn't have to be the strongest typhoons that cause dramatic impacts. This storm was a major flooding disaster, with flooding going on in the whole Tokyo wider region over the course of the next few days. Extremely heavy rainfall amounts and rivers were bursting their banks all across the region, with the maximum rain estimate around 611 millimeters. No less than 2 million buildings were damaged by this storm, including flood damage, with 3,224 reported killed by this storm. The flooding mainly resulting from the storm was obviously the thing that caused all of the problems. The storm itself, with the strong winds, that wasn't really the issue. It was all of the flooding that Kathleen resulted in. The storm peaked with winds of 105 miles per hour and a pressure of 960 millibars before it reached Japan. 240 were also injured by this storm. Another storm in the tumultuous period of the 1940s and early 50s in Japan. There were many typhoons that affected the country during this period, and this was just another one, but certainly one of the worst in that time. That was Typhoon Kathleen, number 80 on my top 100. Chubu, Japan, September 1965. A tropical disturbance started to get tracked to the southwest of Guam in the first days of September 1965, eventually becoming a tropical storm and was named Trix, headed northwestwards and was hot on the heels of another tropical cyclone, Shirley, which ploughed into central Japan as a strong typhoon. Unfortunately, this would be the second in a series of 3 storms that would cause serious damage in the Japanese islands, and Trix, after peaking as a Category 4, sped off towards the northeast and made a strong typhoon landfall in the central part of the country, shooting off northeastwards through the rest of the islands and then way up towards the north, turning post-tropical, and then coming back towards the open waters of the Pacific, just off the southern part of the Kamchatka Peninsula. Well, this storm was quite devastating. It caused a hell of a lot of flooding over central parts of Japan. Some of this imagery showing the extent of the flooding and landslides that occurred across the whole region. In all, this storm caused 107 fatalities, that falling on top of the 73 that we saw from Typhoon Shirley the week before. It also caused 251,000 buildings to be damaged and 8,000 were destroyed. 330 were also injured in this storm, which, as you can see, caused substantial widespread flooding across the region. That's number 79 on my top 100. Oaxaca, Mexico, October 1997.
Next hurricane is Hurricane Pauline of 1997. This particular hurricane was a really strong one, one of the deadliest Pacific hurricanes in Mexico as well, and in the Pacific Basin in recorded history. This is regarded as one of the strong downfalls in Oaxaca ever in the history. It was another October hurricane, a really strange one because it formed near the Gulf of Tehuantepec and turning to the east, and then moved really slowly to the northwest, intensifying really quickly to a Category 4 hurricane, had an naval replacement cycle, again re-intensified and stalled when it began to lose strength caused by land interaction. Still was a really strong hurricane, really small but really deadly and really dangerous. It made landfall one day before dissipating over the state of Jalisco. The damages were about almost $500,000 back on that time. currently positioning among one of the costliest Pacific hurricanes ever as well, with about 750 million of dollars in damages, approximately adjusted to the inflation today, with an approximately between 230 to 400 people approximately. But most of those deaths were caused by that typhoid fever and tetanus after the storm's arrival, not really of the storm surge or the storm itself. It was the problems that Pauline brought after impact Salina Cruz in Oaxaca.
Ultimately, Pauline's death toll reached 500 approximately, and 155,000 buildings were damaged, although little other information is known apart from those two specifics, and its damage tag nearly $500 million, although this may be a little low. The storm peaked with winds of 150 miles per hour and a pressure of 937 millibars, making landfall as a strong Category 2 officially, and Pauline is now number 78 in my top 100. Sorsogon, Philippines, November 1987. A tropical wave was first detected near the international date line and passed north of the Marshall Islands, and then eventually moved on towards the Micronesian Islands. And eventually it became a tropical depression as it got closer to the Philippine Sea and became a tropical storm south of Pohnpei, and then continued to strengthen as it got further to the west, passing by Yap as a Category 1 typhoon, and then gradually strengthened and then rapidly strengthened as it got close to the Philippines, peaking as an extraordinarily powerful Category 5 storm with estimated wind speeds of 185 miles per hour just as it moved through the Bicol region of the Philippines. It then did a little loop-the-loop right at the end in the South China Sea as it was wasting away and dying off in the latter days of November. This of course was Typhoon Nina, an extremely powerful storm which peaked with a pressure of 895 millibars and was still a strong Category 5 by the time it made landfall in Sorsogon province in the Philippines. Of distinct structures that were destroyed and damaged, I think says a lot more about this storm than its monetary price tag. And that's why I've put Nina at number 77 in my top 100. Catanduanes, Philippines, October 1998. A tropical disturbance formed to the southeast of Guam and continued into the Philippine Sea in the middle of October. This ended up becoming a tropical storm and was named Babs, and it started to move towards the west and then turned northwestwards after stalling for a little bit, and then when it was starting to make its proper advance towards the Philippines, that's when it really started to intensify, and it reached a very powerful peak, borderline Category 5 intensity, and made landfall on Catanduanes and then moved through the rest of Luzon as a substantial typhoon with 2 Category 4 plus peaks there, the second one occurring just off the coast of Aurora and Quezon. Continuing northwards after that in the South China Sea, Babs turned post-tropical whilst it was passing between China and Taiwan, moving northeastwards into the East China Sea and its remnants somewhere near Japan. Babs was an extremely destructive storm. It wasn't the most powerful storm on record by any stretch, but it did come off the back of another very strong typhoon, Zeb, which was even stronger than this one. And this storm, Babs, was actually a more destructive storm than Zeb, although the monetary damages weren't quite as high. Nonetheless, 335 people were killed from Babs and 307,000 buildings were damaged, 96,000 were destroyed. That included about 80% of all buildings on the island of Catanduanes, or at least in the main town there, Virac. and that just really goes to show how destructive the storm is near its landfall. It was also an extremely wet storm, and there was significant flooding and landslides that occurred, with 1,306 millimeters of rain having fallen over the region. So Babs, certainly an extremely strong storm, and I think is more than worthy of warranting number 76 on my top 100. Palanan, Philippines, June 1993. A new tropical cyclone was developing over the Micronesian islands, an early season storm, fairly early, in June, and this ended up becoming a tropical depression near Pohnpei and then turned towards the west as it became Tropical Storm Corin. It was a weak tropical storm for quite a few days before it started ramping up as more favourable conditions took hold, as it ventured further into the Philippine Sea, passing close to Yap, and it ramped up to typhoon status and then became a major typhoon and peaked as a Category 5 storm with our estimates 165 mph winds. It then made landfall in eastern Luzon as a Category 3, pushed through the South China Sea and then impacted the coast of China to the west of Hong Kong, and weakened and then eventually died out near the border with Vietnam. Corin was a very destructive storm. It caused significant issues in the Philippines, where many of the fatalities occurred, 76 in total throughout the storm's path, but most of the damage actually occurred in China, around 2/3 of all of the damage occurring there, and most of the other third in the Philippines. Corin was responsible for 657,000 damaged buildings and 97,000 destroyed. Total damages along the storm's path was $312 million. 853 were also injured from the storm. Corin is number 75 on my top 100, and its estimated pressure peak, by the way, was 900 millibars. Tokyo, Japan, June 1966. A disturbance formed in the deep western Pacific, not far from the Micronesian islands, and continued through Yap, became a tropical depression over there, and became Tropical Storm Kit. It was in the Philippine Sea that traversed northwestwards and then rapidly intensified as it reached the same latitude as Luzon, and then curved northwards and then northeastwards, reaching an incredible peak intensity, which we'll talk about in a moment. The storm then veered just off the coast of Japan, passing by Tokyo as a Category 1 before turning post-tropical near Hokkaido and continuing as an extratropical cyclone for a little while into the first days of July, and ended up near the Aleutian Islands on July the 3rd. Kit was an extremely powerful storm, and despite not making landfall in Japan, it caused tremendous flooding damage to the region in the eastern part of Honshu. In fact, 128,000 buildings were damaged and at least 433 were destroyed. The storm also killed 108, quite a lot for a storm that didn't make landfall, and its maximum rainfall total was 760 millimeters, which says a lot as to why we had such problems from this storm. Well, back over the water, before it reached Japan, it did reach that Category 5 peak, an incredible one, 195 miles per hour and 889 millibars is my estimate, bearing in mind that there was a recon gap when the storm was peaking, so we really don't know just how strong the storm got in the end. That's number 74 on my top 100. La Paz, Mexico, September 1976. A tropical disturbance formed off the southern coast of Mexico in the later days of September and became Tropical Storm Liza, started to move towards the north and then rapidly intensified once it got closer to Mexico and reached Category 4 status. An intensity that it would hold for a couple of days as it entered the Gulf of California and clipped the east coast of the Baja California Peninsula before making landfall in the rest of Mexico as still a strong hurricane. Liza was a very powerful storm, 140 miles per hour at peak and a pressure of 948 millibars, according to our estimates, and it passed very close to La Paz in the southern part of Baja California Peninsula as a Category 4 storm. It was actually a dam burst that caused substantial damage and an extraordinary landslide and flooding event in that whole region, which caused a great deal of fatalities and significant heavy damages. In all, 1,263 were killed, 18,000 buildings were damaged, 7,500 destroyed, and there are also 4,000 injuries. There were some evacuations along the Gulf of California coast prior to the storm. We know of at least 5,000. The storm also caused monetary damages of nearly $101 million. Liza was a very exceptional storm, having so much power so far north. Doesn't get seen that often, and will be well known for its flooding impact more than anything. Its actual rainfall total, not quite sure what it might have been. Some reports suggesting it may have been as high as 11 or 12 inches, which is a very high amount, 300 millimeters. But Liza, as far as we see it, we place it at the number 73 on my top 100. Haiphong, Vietnam, September 1881. A significant typhoon pushed through the northern part of the Philippine Islands, probably as a major typhoon, although we don't really know its intensity at that point. Moved into the South China Sea and cruised westwards and then northwestwards into the Gulf of Tonkin, avoiding Hainan Island and staying over water, allowing it to make a Category 3 landfall in the area in northern Vietnam. An extremely devastating storm it was, and a lot of people are aware of this storm. It's been very popularized throughout history and was an extremely dangerous and deadly storm. Now, reports at the time, and it was carried through modern literature, suggesting 300,000 fatalities, although it appears that that information had one extra zero, and in fact only 3,000 were killed in Haiphong, as well as 20,000 in the Philippines. At least that's what it appears to be the actual case. So instead of 300,000, it is actually 23,000 fatalities from this storm. Also, around 20,000 buildings were damaged, and we do know that the storm probably made landfall in Haiphong as a Category 3, with 115 mph winds recorded and a central pressure, or pressure within the storm at least, of 956 millibars. The intensity in the Philippines is uncertain, in fact completely unknown, just that it did cause severe damage in the area. That's the Haiphong typhoon. Unfortunately, not much more imagery than that, and what can we really say about the storm other than what we just know, the bare statistics, but certainly a storm that bears remembering, and that's number 72 on my top 100. Kagoshima, Japan, September 1945. The area had been blitzed in the last few months with the recent ending of World War II and the Pacific War. The Japanese surrendered in the early part of September, but nature wasn't done with it yet.
Typhoon Ida is a very interesting case. This is a very old storm that occurred just after the end of World War II, forming in the Philippine Sea in mid-September, appearing on surface maps around September 11th, moving across to the west towards the Philippines before turning north towards Okinawa. Several ships, including the USS Repose, a brand new military hospital ship, were stationed on the island and were warned to move offshore because of the incoming typhoon. Repose and several other ships moved to the east. Unbeknownst to them, they were heading straight to the center of the storm. The newspaper reports that the ship battered 65 to 75 foot seas for multiple hours before entering a calm period in the eye. What the people on those ships did not realize was the data on there that they recorded on the ship was some of the most incredible that has been noted, reportedly as a record storm on the time and potentially a record storm for today. Ida, when they were passing through the storm, multiple pressure fixes and wind reports were given from the ship. While winds increased up to 150 knots during the second passage of the eye wall, what really stood out about the storm were a pair of very intense pressure fixes. 26 millibars, 26 inches of mercury flat, and the more incredible 25.55 inches of mercury, which equates to 865 millibars, with a previous reading of 880 millibars, suggesting this storm was one of, if not the most intense typhoons on record. Another interesting report from this from the ship was that, although not confirmed, it was reported that the engine room failed to maintain pressure in excess of 26 inches of mercury, which also equates to 880 millibars. These three fixes, the pair of 880 millibar fixes, as well as the incredible 865 millibar fix, suggest an extremely intense storm, and if the latter was accurate, would be the lowest recorded pressure on Earth, beating the generally agreed upon super typhoon tip in 1979 by 5 millibars.
So, a convincing case for this storm being one of, if not the most intense storms on record. However, I'm not fully sure just yet, and I'm sticking with my previous numbers, which is 175 miles per hour and a pressure of 891 millibars. Of course, after this, the storm did push through Kyushu, which, as mentioned earlier, had been extremely badly hit by the war, of course, and this storm compounded issues there, with at least 2,700 fatalities, 50,000 buildings damaged, and 6,000 destroyed from this storm. Ida was certainly a very destructive storm, and potentially a very memorable one, but at the moment, quite a forgotten storm in the grand scheme of things, as I'm sure you may agree. That's number 71 on my top 100. Port O'Connor, Texas, September 1961. A Gulf of Mexico monster would be brewing out of a tropical disturbance that developed into Tropical Storm Carla in the Caribbean Sea in the early days of September, becoming a Category 1 hurricane and winding round the Yucatan Peninsula, and then going on to intensify much further as it reached the northwestern Gulf, peaking as a strong Category 4, originally reported to be a Category 5 but downgraded long after the storm. It then pushed inland after making landfall as a strong major hurricane, and then shot off towards the northeast, becoming a post-tropical cyclone, and was traceable all the way up to the western coast of Greenland on September 17th. Carla was an incredible storm in its pressure, down to 927 millibars, an extremely low pressure for a storm that didn't get to Category 5 status, that as well. It was also very noted for its tornado outbreak, one of the largest in the era. In fact, it was the largest up to that time, and it also produced one very strong tornado, an F4, that struck Galveston, damaging or destroying 200 buildings in that tornado alone. The storm, of course, in total was much more damaging than a single tornado would be. 43 fatalities in total, 68,000 buildings damaged and 2,000 destroyed.
This was Hurricane Carla when it reached the peak of its fury. 170-mile-an-hour winds send the waters of the Gulf of Mexico crashing into the Texas coast. Advanced tracking of the storm enabled 500,000 people to evacuate to areas out of the path of Carla. Sections of the Louisiana coast on the Gulf were also hit hard by the raging storm. What is left is a shambles as far as the eye can see. Slowly, people are returning to what was once a home, realizing the big task in front of them of clearing the rubble and rebuilding and recapturing a life set back by Carla.
At one point, evacuation was aided by school buses, which took nearly 1,000 men, women and children to safety. Reports put the total number of refugees at 500,000. They were wise to get out in time.
Damages ended up reaching $326 million on this storm for the ages in Texas history. It's Hurricane Carla, number 70 in my top 100. Ocracoke, North Carolina, September 2003.
Hurricane Isabel was the strongest of the 2003 hurricane season. It was the 9th named storm of the year and would prove to be the monster of the 2003 hurricane season. It did start forming right off the coast of Africa 10 days before the peak of the climatological peak on September 1st, moved across the main development region of the Atlantic, where it would intensify into a Category 5, would meander between 4 and a 5 a couple more times before starting to rapidly decrease to a Category 2 when it made a landfall in the Outer Banks. The reconnaissance aircraft went into the storm and during one of their missions found an instantaneous wind of 233 miles per hour, which was a record for reconnaissance data at the time. It also would, during its peak as a Category 5 at 165, would be the strongest storm out of the open waters until storms like Irma and Dorian would come and take those titles 14 years later. It would go on and strike the Outer Banks right around September 14th, September 15th, and would end up causing a lot of damage, primarily in the state of Virginia, where it caused 35 deaths there, and sparked an urban legend where the 3rd Cavalry Division that overlooks the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery actually did not leave their posts. There is some speculation that they actually did seek shelter against orders. However, that is an urban legend that's well beyond the scope of the scientific detail of this segment. But Isabel would be the most deadly storm for the Virginia and Outer Banks area. The only storm that really comes similar to that would have been Hurricane Floyd in 1999, and then you have to go back to Hurricane Fran of 1996 to find similar storms of that magnitude that impacted this area of the United States.
Isabel, of course, can't be forgotten as well because of its unmistakable appearance, with its beautiful eye and very large eye during its peak periods, and what they described as a pinwheel eye rotating around itself. Very mesmerizing appearance when you look at some of the animated images. Nonetheless, as we saw, Isabel was a very damaging storm for the US coast, even though it was still only a Category 2 by the time it landed. It did cause 80,000 buildings to be damaged and a further 50,000 destroyed, as well as $5.4 billion in damages. In all, 51 were killed by this storm, number 69 on my top 100. Matanzas, Cuba, July 2005. The first really big storm of the 2005 Atlantic hurricane season became Tropical Storm Dennis in the Caribbean, and then became a strong hurricane as it ravaged Cuba, making 2 Category 4 landfalls, and then rushing into the Gulf of Mexico, where it intensified once again, reaching Category 4 status, before weakening as it made landfall along the Florida Panhandle into Alabama. Moving inland over the United States, it survived as a tropical depression for a little while before doing a loop inland and then continuing northeastwards eventually towards the Great Lakes. Hurricane Dennis was a sign of things to come in the 2005 Atlantic hurricane season. You don't need me to tell you just how bad that season was for the Atlantic basin. Dennis, though, was a stunner near its peak, particularly its Gulf of Mexico peak on the satellite imagery, and the storm did cause significant damage along the Gulf Coast. But the worst damages occurred in Cuba, where the storm potentially damaged 120,000 buildings. The total amount of structures damaged during the storm was 124,000, with 17,000 destroyed. 112 were killed, and the storm caused $3.1 billion in damages. Also, quite notably, 1.3 million people evacuated, and even more notably, the storm produced 1,000 millimeters of rain over Cuba, the wettest storm since Hurricane Flora ravaged that area with its extreme flooding back in 1963. Dennis, although quite forgotten in the shade and the shadow of all the other storms of 2005, still has its own right to be in my top 100 Hurricane Week on its own merits, and as such is number 68 on my top 100. San Salvador, September 1982.
Hurricane Paul is the second deadliest hurricane ever in the Eastern Pacific Basin, and most of the fatalities occurred when Hurricane Paul was actually a tropical depression or even a disturbance or a remnant low in Central America and the southern part of Mexico. This hurricane, it's a clear evidence that even a very weak cyclone can make such disastrous and tremendous destruction based on damages and loss of lives, mostly because the mountainous terrains in Central America and Mexico, mudslides, accumulation of heavy rain, constant rain during the 2 or 3 days that Paul remained in Central America and the southern Mexico actually stalled before moving to the west and becoming a Category 2 hurricane, and then made landfall as a Category 2 hurricane in Baja California Sur state, where it caused a lot of damage. Well, fortunately, no fatalities, but well, the death toll of Hurricane Paul, approximately more than 1,600 people. So this makes this hurricane the second deadliest ever in the Eastern Pacific Basin. And a very clear example of, not even a clear example, that you don't need a very intense hurricane to make such destruction and loss of life. So this is why Hurricane Paul is in the Hurricane Week.
My estimated death toll on the storm is actually a little bit higher, at 2,364, which would mean that Paul is the deadliest Eastern Pacific hurricane. And once again, a lot of that occurred before it even became a named storm. Paul, of course, didn't get retired either after the end of the season, another remarkable feat in its own way. It also caused $1.1 billion in damages, 18,000 buildings damaged and 10,000 destroyed. A massive amount of damage for El Salvador particularly, as well as neighbouring areas of Central America. Number 67 on my top 100. Beira, Mozambique, March 2019. A depression persisted over the eastern part of Mozambique for several days in the early days of March 2019, and eventually, after moving northwestward and doing a little bit of a loop well inland, it started to emerge over the Mozambique Channel and became Tropical Storm Idai. There it is, moving eastwards and then rapidly intensifying to reach its first Category 4 peak, and then heading southwestwards, weakening and then strengthening again to a second Category 4 peak before approaching Beira, where it made landfall as a Category 3 on March 15th. The storm then moved inland and affected several other countries nearby, particularly in Zimbabwe and Malawi, and the storm was a very deadly one for the entire region, a big humanitarian disaster and the deadliest storm on record now in the Southwest Indian Ocean. 1,298 were reported killed from the storm, $1.2 billion in damages, and 164,000 buildings damaged, 120,000 destroyed. Also, 2,420 were injured, and the storm dumped 600 millimeters of rain. It certainly had a decent appearance near its peak intensity, and on the ground the effects were widespread, and the death toll continued to rise day after day for about 2 or 3 weeks, if I recall correctly, after the storm made landfall, as news started to come out from the areas that were cut off for quite a while from the storm. Of course, Force 13 did several updates on the storm as well, and here's what it looked like when we were covering the storm's landfall. Latest on Cyclone Idai, which made landfall at 12:35 AM Mozambique time this morning as a Category 3 storm. It's still a Category 2 with winds of 105 miles per hour and a pressure of 966 millibars as of 5 AM local time. You can see how it made its landfall very close to Beira. Beira itself was in the eye. The storm passed probably within 5 miles to its north and is continuing to move inland now. The eye, this is what we usually see when a storm makes landfall. The eye is shriveling up and will pretty soon completely disappear. So Idai was a serious storm, ranking at number 66 in my top 100. Nagasaki, Japan, September 1991. A tropical disturbance was first spotted in the very eastern part of the Western Pacific near the international date line, eventually becoming a tropical depression far out there in the eastern part of the Western Pacific, becoming Tropical Storm and then Typhoon Mireille as it continued westwards past 160 degrees east, bobbling around a little bit north and then south and then through the Northern Mariana Islands, intensifying once again at this point up to Category 2 status, and then some more rapid intensification up to Category 4, an intensity that it held for quite a few days as it continued northwestwards through the Philippine Sea and towards the Japanese islands, passing just east of Miyakojima into the East China Sea, weakening but still a strong Category 2 storm by the time it made landfall on Kyushu, and then moved through the rest of the Japanese islands, making another landfall in Hokkaido before turning post-tropical and ending up near the Aleutian Islands. Mireille was a powerful storm at peak, not as strong as some others of course, but with winds of 150 miles per hour that makes it a super typhoon, and a pressure of 920 millibars at peak. The storm was still very strong though by the time it went through the coast of Kyushu and the rest of the Japanese islands. An extremely strong landfall. Record winds were seen at a variety of locations around the landfall zone and beyond, and damages were catastrophic. Crop damage was some of the worst seen in Kyushu, and in fact the total price tag for damages was at the time, I believe, a record at $10 billion US. Damaged buildings resulted in 670,000, an extraordinary amount, mainly caused by those ferocious winds. 1,058 reported destroyed. 68 were killed by the storm, with 2,862 injured. Mireille was a very impressive storm, getting up to such a high latitude as still a major typhoon. Not many storms get to do that, and I guess this is why Mireille was such a damaging storm for the coast of Japan. Number 65 on my top 100. Wenzhou, China, August 2006. A tropical disturbance first developed in the Micronesian region, passing through Guam as a tropical storm named Saomai, becoming a typhoon and then strengthening further over the Philippine Sea, and then rapidly intensifying to a Category 5 near the southern Ryukyu Islands, and then slamming into the eastern coast of China in Zhejiang province in August. This storm was a very powerful storm to strike China, one of the strongest storms to do so on record, and was devastating in a year that saw plenty of typhoons strike the east coast of China. Saomai was probably one of the worst ones. It caused 458 fatalities in all, and 200,000 buildings were damaged. 54,000 were destroyed. It also prompted an enormous evacuation beforehand, with 1.7 million evacuating from the shores. It caused $2.5 billion in damages. Saomai, a Category 5 with winds of 160 miles per hour and a pressure of 915 millibars near its peak. Even though it was not the strongest storm of the season, there were a few Category 5s in 2006. Saomai was one of the most damaging, and actually the most damaging storm of that year in terms of cost was Bilis earlier on, with $4.4 billion in damages. This storm made Bilis's damage exacerbated that region's impacts. And Saomai, as a result, ranks in here at number 64 on my top 100. Acapulco, Mexico, September 2013. A relatively short-lived tropical storm that eventually became a hurricane later on, Manuel made landfall first along the western coast of southern Mexico near Michoacan and Colima, and then into the Gulf of California, where it became a Category 1 hurricane briefly before making landfall in Sinaloa. However, Manuel and its teammate Ingrid took their time to cause serious problems on either side of Mexico, Ingrid forming in the Atlantic and Manuel in the Eastern Pacific. And Manuel is probably the worst of the two storms from that tag team, and it was an enormous flooding event with serious damage along coastal areas as well. From this storm, 123 were killed, $4.2 billion in damages accrued, and 43,540 buildings damaged, 11,000 destroyed. Additionally, nearly 100,000 evacuated from this storm, and once again another example that it doesn't take a Category 5 to cause real damage and trouble. Of course, this one was only Category 1, and in some cases even the weaker storms can cause serious problems. Let's not forget that in the southern part of Mexico, where damages were worst, particularly in Acapulco, this storm was only a high-end tropical storm and not a Category 1 hurricane when it made its first landfall. Manuel will certainly be remembered for a long time, a cruel scenario in which two storms battered the coasts of Mexico on either side of the landmass. And that's number 63 in my top 100. Zhanjiang, China, September 1996. A tropical disturbance in the tropical Western Pacific eventually developed into our next tropical storm, Sally, in the Philippine Sea. It was already halfway towards the Philippines when it got named, but still managed to rapidly intensify and become a Category 5 when it was passing just north of the tip of Luzon, and then moved towards the coast of China, making landfall pretty much exactly over Zhanjiang as a Category 3 storm with winds of 115 miles per hour. At peak, Sally was a bit of a monster, 165 miles per hour and an estimated pressure of 914 millibars, but most of its damage occurred in southern China, which was devastated by this storm. 276 were killed, $1.5 billion in damages, but the actual buildings destroyed were an immense amount, 100,000 damaged and 300,000 destroyed. 22 were also injured by this storm, which I think has been quite forgotten. That's number 62 on my top 100. Kagoshima, Japan, August 1971. A tropical disturbance was forming well out at sea to the east of the Ogasawara Islands, around 150 degrees east, and then it did a little loop around itself and became a typhoon. It's named Trix, moving westwards as a Category 1 for a fair deal of time, gradually, and then started to speed up a little bit as it started to approach the Japanese islands. It got stronger, reaching Category 2 status, and then eventually a Category 4 as it was rounding that bend, reaching the coast of Kyushu as a strong typhoon, although it weakened quickly initially and stayed as a tropical storm or Category 1 typhoon as it brushed through the southern part of the main island of Japan. Continuing northeastwards, becoming an extratropical cyclone late on early in September, I should say, as it pushed out towards miles per hour to be more fitting with its wind pressure relationship. Also considering that Trix wasn't particularly large, which lends more credence to that stronger intensity estimate. $51 million of damages from this storm, although I think that was only crop damage. It was probably much more from this also quite forgotten storm, but an outstanding storm, Typhoon Trix, number 61 in my top 100. There it is. Sorry about that abrupt ending there. That was the second part of the top 100, and as you can see back in the studio, I'm here of course, back once again. My name is Nathan Foy and I'm joined by Ethan, Lucas, Seven, and Army is with us as well. And Ethan and Lucas are in a plane race right now, which I wasn't expecting to be happening on tonight's stream, but there they are. What's the latest, Ethan?
Lucas beat me to. Of course, we took off from Houston at top of the hour, and we have both successfully landed at Dallas Love Field Airport, which is with both of those airports that we took off and landed from our bases for Southwest Airlines. We're of course both using Southwest Airlines planes. Lucas beat me by about 5 minutes or so it was a very close race. But we are expecting to take off at the exact same time from Dallas Love Field. And we'll be heading off towards Indianapolis International in Indiana. Of
course, you're going to Indianapolis.
And this flight is going to be the longest of the bunch. 2.5 hours on average. Could be a little bit longer, could be a little bit shorter. We are expecting a little bit of turbulence on this segment, though, as the cold front is passing through, and that might lead to some turbulent conditions. So this part of the race is going to be very interesting, I think.
Oh, Ethan's such a pilot, isn't he? Do you think you guys will be taking off in 8 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
About 8 minutes, because that's how long one of our animations is tonight, and we're going to be showing that live in a few seconds. Tonight's animation, Ethan, what is it?
Can I reveal it?
The first one, yeah.
2008.
Okay, so this season is an Eastern Pacific one.
Oh, Ethan's excited. Did you animate it?
Yes, I did. Of course. Why wouldn't I?
Of course.
So this animation was animated by myself, truly, of course. When it comes to this season animation, this season is defined for its insane ace count. Of course, you probably already know what it is. It had 3 Category 5s: Lane, Walaka, and Willa. It's 2018 Eastern Pacific version 2. Yes, I was hyped for that.
A bit of adrenaline.
So there we go, that's the 2018 EastPack season. Ethan really milking the outro there in the animation, Ethan. Any thoughts? Hello?
From me?
Yes.
Well, it took me a long time to animate.
Crazy, man.
The music is all reverby and
And-
stuff.
And Walaka was beautiful.
Yes, you're a Wallaka fanboy, and a few people had some comments about the 175 mile an hour you gave it.
What do you mean about the? What do you mean comments?
Just,
Like it's too high.
I think some people are saying that. Yes.
Well, Dvorak analysis that Soham and I did supported a higher peak, just before the CPHC called it.
Okay. Well, plane update, Ethan. You've not taken off yet.
Nope, I'm holding
I'm
short
just about
of
to hold short.
1-3 right.
Well, to hell with holding short. It's a race.
All right, well I can go if you want me to.
Departing.
Well, let's go ahead and pull on then.
And where's Lucas? Oh, he's about to take off as well. So these two aviation nerds have taken it upon themselves to be doing a race during tonight's Hurricane Week episode. So that's very interesting. We'll just take a few little questions first before we go to our first Super Cyclone Challenge of the week. Oh yes, that's live, by the way. A comment there.
I wonder who's going to be in it.
Yeah, that TD landfall icon is cursed. That's the first thing I thought when I saw it. Is this the
Same.
second time the 5-year restriction on animations was broken? Well, I think the so-called restriction is used quite a bit more liberally these days. Ethan, is the rule still in place, or are you guys?
What rule?
The 5-year rule that I sort of I made it like an unwritten rule. I made it like a guideline. It wasn't really enshrined
Here we
into
go.
law or anything
Here
like
we go.
that. But
There, we do grant some exceptions.
do you think that deserved to be an exception?
Yes,
For what reason?
because new reanalysis findings.
Oh, new reanalysis findings, folks. Alright then. Right then, okay, let's go then to the Super Cyclone Challenge. I press a button and that will hopefully transport me to the opening titles of the Super Cyclone Challenge just as soon as we watch Ethan take off here.
Rolling down 1-3 right at Dallas Love Field.
And Ethan's really excited that he's going to take off again.
I'm already taking off.
Come on, stay center, stay center.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Stay center.
I also have something that's coming
There's
up.
140, rotate.
And up he goes. So there we go, that's Ethan taking off. And now we're going to go to a live Super Cyclone Challenge. I press a button, hopefully everything will work. If the stream gets knocked out or something, it wasn't my fault, and pretend I wasn't here. Alright, this button will be pressed in 3, 2, 1, and go. There we go. For a minute I pressed the wrong button or two, but we just about got there. We survived. Very, very barely. My name is Nathan Foy, back in the studio, and we have, out of nothing, a brand new Super Cyclone Challenge, and this is live on Force 13's Hurricane Week, a special. And tonight, for the Super Cyclone Challenge game shows this week, we had an application process. I think around 20-something people applied for the Super Cyclone Challenge, and of course only 6 got through. One of those people who got through I think maybe out of good fortune or good luck, but it is someone who has a very good history with our Super Cyclone Challenge. And it is Ryan Leahy. And I don't think I can get Ryan Leahy's audio just yet. Hold on a minute whilst I fix that. But there is Ryan Leahy sitting there. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we have you.
Okay, awesome.
Wow.
Where did you go?
No, I was just the thing is we hadn't set up the communications probably thing. I don't know. Anyway, Ryan Leahy is back. Last time we saw you, you were doing the duel, weren't you? For the first time we introduced the Super Cyclone Challenge duel with your friend Diego.
Yep.
And that
was
a
a very interesting result, let's just say.
Yeah, that was a fun episode. Loads more prizes to be won this time around as well. The Super Cyclone Challenge winner this week will receive a brand new GoPro 11. You want that?
That will probably be me. Would be my
guess. Of course. I mean, it's going to be at the end of the week. We're giving all of the prizes out, but whatever the players manage to do in their individual games this week, they will win the monetary equivalent. So, 200 miles an hour. Brian might get there. $200.
$200.
That's quite good.
It's fine with me.
That's quite good. Yeah. But the actual prizes are given in the final Super Cyclone Challenge, which will be on Saturday, where all of the basically I think everyone comes back. I can't even.
Oh no!
For a
what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Are we gonna have like a Super Cyclone Challenge tournament or something?
It'll just be an all-in mess like usual, I think.
Oh great! And, another all-in game that I'm forced to attend. Lovely.
I think that's what we'll do. I haven't really thought about it. We sort of should.
Wait, so who determines? So the winner would be whoever gets the highest score in their individual game. Correct?
No. The winner is whoever wins the all-in game.
No.
Yeah. But
no, that's not fair.
Of course it's fair.
That's not fair.
Of course it's fair.
Not.
You're guaranteed the.
I'm not gonna get. I never win the all-in games though. I never win them.
But the prize
I've been
amount.
in like 5 of them now, and I haven't won a single one.
First time for everything. The prize amount that you win tonight though is guaranteed. So that's your opportunity to do it all yourself.
Okay, at least maybe I'll get enough money to buy a GoPro.
Yeah,
I probably will.
You'd have to beat the game twice to get one, I'm afraid. But our second prize, I mean, we'll talk about the other prizes, but that's the top prize there. We'll talk about the other prizes during the all-in game on Saturday. But no. Ryan, how have you been?
So they're going to be a secret. It's been a year, I guess.
Yeah.
You could say. Yeah.
I just want to say on that.
It has been,
I just want to say on that prize thing, there'll be 6 people taking part in the final day. Only 5 of them will win anything.
Oh, so I'll win something.
Yeah, most
Unless
people.
I'm the one that goes home with nothing.
Most people will win something, but the further down the positions you go, the prizes get smaller and smaller.
Will I get toilet paper like we did in 2020? Will toilet paper be a prize?
I don't. Not this year. That was more of a COVID era meme.
Yeah, that was a COVID era meme.
Now then, you've been. I don't suppose you've been practicing or anything like that with your Super Cyclone Challenge knowledge. I mean, is it easy to practice? Well, is there such a thing?
Well, you see, how I usually do this is no, I really haven't been looking at any of those cyclones until today, where I just looked at the past 10 years, I'd say. I don't usually practice, or usually I try to practice beforehand, but then I always put it off till like the day of when I play the Super Cyclone Challenge. So yeah, I'm kind of nervous because, one, I'm the first one playing this series or whatever, so I have no idea how hard the questions are going to be. They could be like ridiculously difficult, and I don't know. And I assume all the rules are the same, hopefully. Okay.
Well, I'm quite nervous as well because it's my first time programming it again after a break, so a whole host of things could go wrong. But yeah,
like the intro playing after the first question.
like the intro playing after the first question and things
Yeah.
like that. But I can tell you that the usual things are there. We have our 24 questions with the 5 safe zones: 40 miles an hour, 75, 115, 150, and 180. We also have the lifelines. The ones that you have at the beginning are the 4 that you start off with, the half-time lifeline, where we move on to the next question but halve the time limits. The 50-50, flip the question, and the dreaded risk lifeline. And if you get the first 5 correct without using a lifeline, then you'll get the double dip awarded as well.
I assume that will happen to me. If it doesn't, I will be very embarrassed.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah.
All right then, are you ready?
Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the stream so I can see the questions.
Ah, yeah, well,
just in case. I'll hide the chat so I can't see people yelling out the answer.
Well, they might be wrong.
Yeah.
They might be
Well, they
wrong
might
as
be
well,
wrong.
so.
They can look it up and I can't, so they have an advantage there.
We try to make the questions unlook-upable, especially in the time limit, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, they are pretty unlook-upable in the in the time frame because you, especially like the first question, you only have 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
To Google the correct answer. Yeah.
All right, shall we
Okay.
begin? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Question 1 for 20 miles an hour, and here it is. What was the first named storm worldwide in 2022? Camille, Cody, Connie, or Chris?
How do you say the?
Camille,
It's
Cody, Connie, or Chris?
Cody. Final answer.
Do you think it's right?
Yeah, because none of those other ones were storms in 2022.
That's right. It is.
I was like, Cody was like mid-January. Wow, was it really that long?
That was.
I thought like Seth and Tiffany were around New Year's, right?
That was the first, I think.
I guess
Should
they
have
formed it. They formed in 2021 though, didn't they? So that's why they don't count.
Well, if that's wrong, then I don't know. But we if that
Whatever
even
it
is
was,
the case,
I would
then
have gotten it.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. That should be the right answer. The next question gets us to 30 miles per hour after I press a few buttons, and I have to do this every time, so bear with me. 30 miles per hour to the correct answer of question 2. Here it is. Which category did Hurricane Linda attain in 1997? Was it 2, 3, 4, or 5?
Category 5. Final answer.
That's the right answer for 30 miles an hour. There you
These
go.
are hard for the question difficulty for the stage. I'm a little nervous now. Like this is getting me a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, one thing that I can tell you that might make you feel better or worse, I don't know. No one in the last series got as far, or not many people got as far as the later questions, so most of those haven't changed because no one got there.
Well, Diego and I got there, and we got to like 175 miles an hour.
Yeah, and then I wrote new ones, and we did a few more games, but no one got there. Let's see. This one.
No, we didn't.
Huh?
Did you like test runs or something?
I had more questions.
Okay.
I think it was just in my question bank. I still have extra questions I didn't have to write in the upper echelons. Question number 3
right.
for 35 miles per hour. Here it is. What was the weakest storm of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season? Was it Ian, Fiona, Colin, or Gaston?
Colin. Final answer.
Why was that so funny?
Another Colin question that puts me into a laughing fit, just like the last solo game.
What's so funny about Colin?
It was like I think it was one of the weakest named storms in Atlantic history.
And now you're nearly
I'm
as
pretty
strong
sure.
with it. 35 miles an hour.
My ultimate goal was actually to beat Colin this whole time.
There it is.
I must confess
Just
to all of you people who have been doubting me.
Just one more, and we'll get to. It was 40, wasn't it?
We'll get to Colin intensity.
I think it was 40 this year.
Yeah, it was 40. It was 40 and then like 1,011 millibars.
Yeah, very high pressure.
Very high pressure. Yeah.
The next question.
I think that's right.
I think it was. The next question will get Ryan to tropical storm status at 40 miles an hour. Here it is. How many times has the name Iota been used for a tropical cyclone? Is it none, 1, 2, or 4? Iota or Iota, whichever way you pronounce that.
I'll say Iota was only used once in 2020, so 1 final answer.
That is the right answer for tropical storm status.
Yay. I can't believe I made it this far. I am very honored to be a tropical storm.
First safe zone reached, and Ryan's looking good. If he gets the next question right without any help, he will have a 5th lifeline awarded. Any comments you'd like to make at this stage, Ryan? You still concerned about the difficulty?
I don't know. I mean, I think it was sort of like this in the last time. Like the first few questions were sort of difficult, but I've never had an issue getting beyond major hurricane status, so I would imagine that I would get there. I hope I do.
Well, I'm scared now. He's going to get there very strong. Here's the next question, number 5, which will get a 50 miles per hour. Here it is.
All right.
In 2022, Typhoon Nanmadol primarily affected which country? China, Japan, Philippines, or Vietnam?
Nanmadol, did you say?
Nanmadol.
That should be Japan, final answer.
You thinking hard on that one?
No.
Oh.
I just looked at it.
It just... Okay. That's the right answer.
That went to hit Kyushu, I think. Kyushu and the Ryukyu Islands.
Affected that whole area, yeah. Powerful storm.
I was worried that I was getting it mixed up with something else for a second.
Easy thing to do. You've got that 5th lifeline awarded, so we are on a roll. 5 in a row without any help there. The next question will, of course, get us to 60 miles per hour and further towards that hurricane status. Ryan's looking intrigued in the chair there, and our viewers are enjoying the spectacle as well. Here is the next question. In 2001, Typhoon Vermeil made landfall at which latitude? Is it 1.5 north, 10.5 north, 30.5 north, or 60.5 north?
1.5 north, final answer.
You remember Vermeil?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was the lowest latitude cyclone in history. Made landfall in Singapore.
Yep, almost.
Very low latitude.
It was 1.5. That's the right answer.
I thought it was a bit higher than that. I thought it was
No,
1.7.
I verified that today. It was 1.5.
Okay.
Crazy times.
That is insane. How does it even tiny storm too? I would imagine. I haven't really looked at it.
I think I've seen smaller, but yeah, not huge.
Yeah, pretty strong for
Category 1.
It was like a cat 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next question here. No problems at all so far. The final storm of the 2009 Atlantic hurricane season occurred in which month? Was it September, October, November, or December?
I'm pretty sure Ida was in November. I'm gonna say, should I use a lifeline or not?
Up to you.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna do a lifeline just to be sure, just for a safety net.
Ooh.
Kind of risky this early, but I just want to make sure.
Playing safe.
That I don't,
Go on then.
go out really early and make a huge mistake.
Which one? Have any idea?
Oh, for the lifeline?
Yeah.
We will do. Should I go 50-50 or double dip?
Your call.
We'll go double dip.
All right then. What's your first answer?
My first answer will be November. I don't know if it was like the very end of October or November, but Ida was active at some point in November. I know that for sure.
If it's wrong, you've got 9 seconds to provide me another answer. November
Okay.
is the correct answer for 70 miles per hour.
Yeah, I was like 90% confident that was the correct answer. I didn't know if it like... It was like early November, I'm pretty sure. So I didn't know. It might have formed on like October 30th or 31st or something.
I think it was actually the second week of November.
Was it actually? I thought it was like early.
I think so. Can't remember.
Okay.
Something like the 6th,
Yeah.
I think it formed. But there we go. 1 lifeline used. Hopefully not much harm done. We've still got 4 left, and I've just pressed the wrong button. Next question will get us to hurricane strength if it's correct. Question number 8 for 75 miles per hour. After 1 or 2 more buttons get pressed, I'll be able to continue. This can't help Ryan's nerves. All right, you ready for this?
No. Yes.
Here we go. Question number 8. Which 2021 typhoon was the costliest? Was it Rai, Surigay, Chanthu, or Kompasu?
Okay, you know what? Oh, God.
Rai,
Pains me to
Surigay.
do this. It pains me to do this, but I'm using a lifeline flip the question.
Oh,
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous for this early.
Lady,
Sorry.
what happened?
I don't know which one was the costliest. That's why. I think if I had to guess, I would say Rai, because that was like a Cat 5 hitting the Philippines, but I'm not sure.
You would have gone for Rai.
Would I have been right?
Ryan Leahy, if you'd gone for Rai, it would have been the right answer.
Oh my god. Okay. Do we still do the blooper reel?
Yes.
Okay. Put that on the blooper reel.
All right, here's another question then for hurricane status. Good luck. In 2021, Cyclone Eloise made its strongest landfall in which country? Was it Madagascar, Mozambique, Mauritius, or Comoros?
Mozambique, final answer.
He seems to know that one. You sure?
I hope I know it. Well, I know it was like around major intensity when it hit Mozambique. Then Madagascar, it was probably like high
Alright, that's
TS
enough,
Cat 1.
Ryan. We're stalling too much. It's the right answer for hurricane status. 75 miles per hour on this live Super Cyclone Challenge with Ryan Leahy. And someone said earlier regarding the costliest typhoon question, they said that it was the right answer. Oh, dear.
I don't look at the costliest. That's like the one thing that I don't look at is like monetary damage when it comes to cyclones. 'Cause
Yeah.
It doesn't really tell you how much damage like the storm actually caused. It all depends on like how wealthy the country is more than anything.
I agree.
So
All part of the trivia,
Yeah.
though.
I understand that. I just don't look at that.
No, sure. The next question will get us up to 80 miles an hour, because I almost forgot my format. How do you think you're doing? 2 lifelines used so far. What's your target, if any?
I mean, I'd be happy to make it to major at this point. These questions are like really hard. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like these questions are really hard.
We'll do our best. Here's the next question for 80 miles per hour. How strong was Kompasu in the 2021 Pacific typhoon season? Was it a tropical storm, Category 1, Category 3, or Category 5?
This is 2021, right?
Yep, last year.
Well, I didn't know if it was a good thing because I didn't know if it was a Cat 1 or a Cat 2. So Cat 1, final answer.
He's gone for Category 1. Do you think it's right?
I hope it's right. I swear to God if it's wrong.
Ryan Leahy, for 80 miles an hour, you have chosen the wrong answer.
What? Wait, what? Are you kidding me?
It was a tropical
was it?
storm.
Wait, actually? Wait, really? I swear to God I was looking at it.
It better
No
be.
way. Hold on. I'm gonna look this up because I don't actually believe you.
Is it a controversial question?
Let's see here. Okay, it was a tropical storm. Yes. 70 miles an hour. Are you kidding me? Was it like operationally a Cat 1?
Was it a JMA typhoon?
No. It was a severe tropical storm. Okay.
Damn, there's no way we can give it you then.
That is like, yeah, actually. Okay, I'll be back for the all-in game.
That question was clearly a tough one as well. My God. I mean, let's be honest. I probably, because my memory is quite poor, I'd have crashed out much earlier.
Those are really hard questions. Like, I am just, I guess, to the rest of the people playing this week.
Good luck.
The fact that I couldn't even get past hurricane intensity.
Damn.
Yeah, like those are. I was like, the first question, like I was even stunned. I was like, wait, what was the first storm of 2022? I didn't even know that. Like if if the other answers weren't storms that had happened in 2020, that happened in 2022, I would have had no idea probably. So.
Leahy, you'll get plenty of chance in the all-in, and someone's going to have to win the GoPro 11. So you'll have your chance there. But still, $75, not so bad for a 30-minute chat, really, is it?
Well, I guess I won 75 in the last game, so I guess it's good. I hope I win the all-in this time. That's probably what this means. It's like, I didn't do well this time. I'm going to come back and I'm going to like destroy the all-in game.
You betcha. Well, best of luck with that, Ryan. Anything else you'd like to say to the viewers before we go?
I don't know. I'm just.
Sammy Emily said that they have peaked you with 75 miles an hour and a pressure of 986.
I'll accept that.
Where they got that from.
I'll make landfall. I don't know. I don't know where I would be. Probably would be a good place to like visit. I mean, Florida's had enough hurricane action this year.
Go to Greenland.
Greenland, sure, yeah. I'm a 75 mile an hour, 986 millibar hurricane hitting.
All right, Ryan, we're going to have to go now. You're welcome to join us in our main discussion, by the way, if you want to stay on. But we're now going to go back to our other part of the stream where we'll be talking about, I think it's our monthly summaries coming up now. But that was Ryan Leahy on tonight's Super Cyclone Challenge.
All right.
Me and Ethan were watching the stream, and
Yep, we're here. We're back on the air, and it is back to the main part of Hurricane Week, and Ethan's still flying a plane. That race is continuing. What's going on over there? Latest, Ethan.
Just about to fly over Little Rock. Cruising altitude right now, 36,000 feet. And my god, that sunset in the distance. Holy cow, that is beautiful.
Well, it's gone.
Oh yeah. And look what's in front of us. Complete darkness.
Now, Ethan, next up next up right now is our monthly summaries. Are you able to do that whilst flying?
I have neat little graphic that I can pull up.
You do have a neat little graphic. Christian was using it. Yes. Where is he, by the way?
I don't know, but he needs to be here.
Yeah.
Flight Simulator is not liking me pulling up PowerPoint right now, but guess what? I don't care.
So
here,
those who are wondering, we've got a bumper Super Cyclone challenge tonight. A second one coming up in half an hour. No, not in half an hour. It's in an hour and a half. We had a little schedule change. An hour and a half is our next one.
Well, if we're continue on streaming, guess I'll do some more flights then. How about that?
So
here's some of the storms for part 2 discussion. So the first one that we had was Cyclone Cliff. I'm just going to pull that up now.
Oh, you're pulling them up?
Okay, I can. Well, no, I'm just going to pull them up so that I can actually go over them because to be honest, I don't remember Cliff at all.
Me neither. I think it was somewhere near Australia.
Was it? I looked up on Wikipedia and it got me a cyclone from 2007. Fantastic.
Oh no, it was. Yeah, it was. It was well, no, it was more in the Southwest Indian Ocean. But before we go on to that, do you want to talk about? Are we talking about 9P?
Which one was that?
That was also a system, which we can show you. Let me just grab. I'm just trying to feverishly get towards the goddamn imagery. Which button is it? 9P. Is it that button? It's this button. There it is. There's 9P. What a mess. That is not a tropical cyclone. I'm sorry, that's not a tropical cyclone.
Well, when did it happen?
That's the 3rd and 4th of February there.
Oh.
9P. Yep. Not a TC.
Yep, I see it
Goodbye.
now. Off the northeast end. No, it actually looked better earlier on in its life.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that's when it looked best.
Let's go and take a look at Cliff. Of course, later,
happened.
I mean, we haven't really got to any of the big debate points of the season yet, but I'm sure we'll get... Are we?
Yeah, so Cliff happened. That was a weak tropical storm in the Southwest Indian Ocean. Officially peaking with winds of 50 miles per hour. I'm not sure what our analysis went with.
Didn't look too bad near its peak there. Could have been a case maybe for 60, but 50 to 60. If 55 existed, I'd probably do that. But off it went.
I wish that Kobe was here because he could go on and on and on about the next storm, which is Dovey.
If who was here?
Kobe Craft.
Yes.
I know he's in the chat, but I wish that he was on stream.
Maybe Kobe will join.
Because he's in New Zealand.
You want to talk about Dovey?
And he got hit by Dovey. So, well, what was Dovey at one point?
Let's take a look at Cyclone Dovey. This formed on February the 9th near Vanuatu, as you can see there. Big bursts of intensification there at the beginning. And then it started wrapping and wrapping. Look at the bottom end there, the south side. An eye trying to get itself closed, and eventually it did after it passed New Caledonia. One of those that can sometimes surprise you when it forms, and before, especially if you're watching it all the time, before you know it, it's got itself an eye established and it's caught you by surprise.
Yeah. The officials only rate Dovey at peak, DCWC that is, with winds of 90 miles per hour. But if I recall correctly, there's evidence for 105, I think?
Maybe, when you look at that. There's an imagery gap there. It kept its structure going for a good while there. It wasn't far from New Zealand, but of course it never fully made it.
Yeah.
But of course you have that massive plume of blues heading down there. Huge amounts of convective activity.
That's by a big rainfall threat.
Boom. Off it goes.
The next two we had Dumako.
Bloody hell, Ethan, we're going a bit quick here, aren't we?
Well, yeah, because we have a lot of other storms to talk about that are probably going to take up a lot more of our time.
Oh, right.
So Dumako,
Dumako.
tropical storm in the Southwest Indian Ocean. Nobody cares about it.
Hold on a minute, I care about it. Let's go and have a look at Dumako.
Okay, fine.
Actually, I really do care about it because it was one of many systems that hit Madagascar that season. It was a very bad season for Madagascar last year. There it is again.
Yeah.
Another Madagascar landfall. Batsarai did it. Demako's done it. The beginnings of... Was it Anna that year?
Yes.
Did it?
Anapire was tropical storm whenever it hit Madagascar.
So Demako wasn't much, but look at all that, at landfall there. Good amount
tiny
of precip.
as far as...
Yeah, small.
I mean, well, I don't know if I'd say it's tiny, but I'd say it's small.
Small, yeah. And off it went. All right, eager Ethan, what's next?
Fazil.
Fazil?
Fazil?
Where's
that was a weak thing. In the Southwest Indian Ocean, near 90 degrees. Borders,
did it even get a JTWC tag?
It did, yes.
It doesn't show up here. What number was it?
Oh god, I have no clue.
16?
It might be.
16's missing on here for some reason. Why?
Either way, it was a weak tropical storm that nothing really was interesting about it. But Fazil really wasn't tracked that much because a little storm called Emnati was active during the same time.
Yep.
I think we all know what that did.
Well, for those who don't, here is some images. That's when it's first forming there on the 16th. And wow, really blew up massive convection its first days, and then the ice started to wrap round. Have you got a lot to say about Emnati, Ethan?
Not really, because I don't really remember much about Emnati personally.
What storm have you got a lot to say about? Because I gotta go for a short break here.
Well, the next storm is Vernon. And 16S.
Oh, 16S.
I call them both the same thing, and I'll pull up my screen here so that way I can show imagery of this.
All right, then I'm gonna go for a short break here, Ethan. I'll just be back in just a few minutes. Ethan's taking the stream.
Thank you. It's going to be tough to make sure that I can actually fly while doing this, but I'll do my best. So we had Vernon and 16S, and these were both interesting storms. They sort of, I don't know how to say it, did a loop around each other, I guess? I mean, Vernon, either way, rapidly intensified, was very small. Cat 4 at peak, low-end Cat 4. And I think peak was around here, if I recall correctly. If I recall, JTWC did go with the Cat 4 peak, so that's something. And up there is 16S, and so these two storms eventually do a dance around each other. It's what we call the Fujiwara effect, and it's where two low pressure systems get too close to one another that basically they sort of form like a center in between those two, and then they kind of rotate around that center. And since Vernon ended up being the stronger, more dominant system, there you can see 16S ultimately getting absorbed, Vernon really ultimately ended up collapsing due to the Fujiwara effect. And of course, 16S got absorbed by Vernon, and Vernon would re-intensify as it headed off towards the south. I actually remember doing a video update on Vernon. It was quite an interesting storm at peak. I think peak is around here, early on the 25th into the 26th, and was quite a beautiful storm at peak. And the next storm that we had after that was not well. A lot of people confuse this next name with its Atlantic one. It's actually Anika is the next one, and that storm was very interesting. And you'll see why here in a second. It had very cold cloud tops initially when it formed off the northwest corner of Australia. It's going to take a little bit for the imagery to load here. But Anika would end up pushing off towards the southwest, very, very slow moving initially, and would eventually struggle to intensify under a little bit of unfavorable conditions, but massive cloud tops really throughout its whole life here. And it was what I remember about Anika. The most memorable thing is models were really keen on this system becoming something big down here whenever it would sort of kiss Western Australia for a little bit and emerge, and then it would recurve back in. Models were really hinting on this phase of Anika's life being something pretty big. Ultimately, it never ended up getting there, and there you can see Anika finally moving inland into Australia after stalling off the coast for better part of a day or so, maybe even more, and then it really collapsed on itself, downgraded to a likely remnant low, although it might have stayed tropical throughout the whole duration, we just don't know. And then the system sort of stalled there for a little bit more, dropping still heavy rainfall. Overall, the impacts from Anika, I'm trying to say Anita from the Atlantic, it's Anika. Overall, the impacts weren't really that bad. Very interesting system. And there you can see Anika emerging off of the coast there. And there it is. Of course, models were very keen on this part of Anika's life being of a rapidly intensifying storm up towards maybe Category 3, maybe even Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Luckily, it got nowhere near that, and it only ended up being a tropical storm at peak whenever it made landfall. And there it is making landfall, and there it is racing off towards the southwest. Very interesting and slow-moving storm over on Western Australia. The next storm is one that I remember makes a lot of our analysis team very frustrated, and it was, what was its name? Eva. I don't know where Eva is. It's not here. I think 17S was next. When did this happen? Oh, that was in early March. Huh. Well, since we don't have imagery of Eva, this actually would be the next storm. 17S. And what is there to say about this system? I mean, there it is. And that's it. It just kind of just stayed there and died. I mean that right there, folks, is a revolutionary system. Category 5, clearly. I mean, just look at it. I mean, it is such a bad storm. I mean, clearly Category 5 landfall. Like, holy cow. I'm not joking there, obviously. So then you had 18. I think some people in the chat are saying that this is Eva, apparently. So here's Eva.
All right, I'm back.
We're just getting on to Eva now, Nathan.
What did we miss? What did I miss?
This is all.
Vernon, 16S, and Anika.
Oh dear.
This is awful.
What's awful?
My flight is nothing but turbulent right now. Oh my god.
To be fair there, Ethan multitasking, man. It's mad.
Yeah, I'm going off course.
Oh dear.
I'm off course too. Off the course of the GPS.
Oh dear. But the next storm would, of course, be Eva, and some people say that it's post-tropical, and some people say that it's subtropical, some people say that it is a tropical storm.
What storm?
Eva, in the South Pacific.
Oh, Eva, yes.
Oh, that was a
Exactly.
Definitely a tropical storm.
I don't really know much. I don't really know much about post-tropical cyclones, so I think I'm reluctant to comment on its status.
Let me just shut up quick, because I'm gonna order some food for dinner.
There's Eva, either way.
I don't have that on here.
It's 18 is what I just listed as.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I've got the next one.
Eva. Yeah, the next one was... is it the Southern Hemisphere one?
Go on, what is it?
It's actually 1B.
Oh god, 1B.
Yeah. I mean, this is a rare tropical depression, tropical storm if you go by the JTWC, in the Bay of Bengal in March. Early March at that. When's the last time that happened?
Oh, I'll have to go check my records. Now look what you've done, Ethan.
I'm sorry.
What did you do? You had one job to do.
It will have happened before.
I mean, come on, it's got to.
But I don't know when.
make sure I don't go off course now.
And I don't have full date statistics yet because my database isn't that far evolved.
Okay. Well, the next one was Cyclone Gumbe. You have that one up, Nathan?
Yeah, we've got Gombe here.
Okay.
Here it is.
That one peaked as a Category 3 as it was
There you
making
go.
landfall in Mozambique.
Now, there's that first landfall, and is that a potential Category 1 jump scare there? That had only just formed and it was developing in I as it was making landfall.
Maybe. Probably not. I have to have a look at Dvorak data to see what it says.
And it capitulated, and then a massive burst there, and I remember tracking this one. Look at those massive cloud tops that was spewing out on the southern side over the western coast of Madagascar, and then the storm itself, compact core, really managed to wrap up quickly there, and it would have gone much further than Category 3 if it was allowed to stay over water for longer.
And if it had
What
those
storm
conditions-
is this? Eva?
No.
Cyclone Gumbe.
Gombe.
Cyclone Gombe. Yeah, I've heard of Gombe.
Have you?
That was
Yes.
in the Indian Ocean storm, right? I remember that one.
Yeah.
Southwest Indian Ocean.
And it hovered around
Yeah,
the
yeah.
coast of Mozambique for a lot longer after that as well, and was...
Yeah, it was given a brief chance of regeneration.
Looks like it did to me, looking at these images.
Yeah.
That looks
Its
like
first
it
peak-
officially it did.
Yeah, its second peak was its main peak, of course, was Cat 3.
And there's that landfall.
Then I'll make this next one brief. You had Billy.
Billy.
It didn't really do anything.
Our name's
Nobody
Billy.
cares about Billy.
Shall
And
I
then you had
take a look at Charlotte then?
Yep, Charlotte's the next one.
Here's Charlotte. Here we go, Ethan. We're working as a team
I
now. This is
remember
good.
that That's an Australian storm.
It was indeed. There's the grand coast of Australia there down the southeast of the storm. And Charlotte was a significant system, developed and reached, I think, Category 3.
By our analysis, yes. I don't think it is by officials.
Close call when you look at that imagery there. It's a very small eye. Would that even be a pinhole?
It would be.
Yeah.
That's a tiny eye.
A weak
But the eye-
pinhole, though, not a strong pinhole, which is interesting.
Let me check Dvorak real quick. Cause I can pull that up. I'll have to go back to the 2021 archives. So that's when that season was.
What?
And that was. Or I'm in the wrong year, aren't I?
Yeah. We're talking about this year, Ethan. Come on, man. You know that.
Why is it? It's not giving me the data. I don't have the data. Come on.
Give them the data.
I don't have the Dvorak data, so I don't know.
Anyway, the remnants of Charlotte continued there as a very broad extratropical system, throwing loads of moisture into Western Australia and leaving itself with just a naked swirl there at the end, looking very sorry for itself. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of that peak, though.
Close call either way.
Really small. I don't really know what to say.
Next storm was very big, though, and that was actually the strongest storm up until Hinamnor occurred.
Really?
That was
Really? I've never heard of that.
Halima,
Right.
and that play peaked almost as a Category 5.
You want me to show that one then?
Yep, and then after that, there's one more.
Ethan's still
And that
flying
is?
along there. Well, here's Halima. It formed, was that, in the middle of nowhere, the Indian Ocean, and then continued southwards. Oh, there it was. It went from 0 to 100 quite quickly. 25th of March.
Identified.
Look at that. That's a strong storm there. Strong Category 4, probably. And
Yeah,
I think
our analysis, I remember quite well. 150 miles per hour, 150 at peak.
And I think Batsarai was at least that as well.
Yeah, around there.
But there it
Actually,
went.
was Betsarai was 145, I think, by officials.
Yeah, but I was looking at the imagery yesterday, Ethan, and some people had interesting reactions. But When I was looking at that raw imagery, it looked like a borderline Category 5, has to be said.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too when I saw it back in February.
And I think that was actually the first time I'd probably looked back at Batsarai because it's been so busy this year. But
yeah, despite your vacation,
I think it may have a case. And people misconstrued that and said I think it's a Category 5. But no, I just think it might have a case. I don't really know. I wouldn't call it a Category 5 yet unless I see more substantial evidence.
Yep.
Alright, so there's that. And what's next? Last, did you say?
The last one. 1W.
Oh.
Why
Save
did
the
you?
worst till last.
It was the last. It formed on February 29th. Or was it
March 30th.
Was it February?
February
It was
29th.
March into early April.
February
Whoa,
29th
my bad.
didn't happen this year.
My bad. Either way, 1W
There it is.
wouldn't surprise me if it was a tropical storm whenever it made landfall.
Looking very sorry for itself.
Made landfall very quickly after it first appeared. And off it went into Vietnam.
Very short-lived.
Very, very.
Bring in a decent amount of rain, I think.
And then I remember we, as 1W moved inland, we actually started tracking multiple areas of interest, and both of which would become the next storms that we're going to discuss tomorrow, and that would be Malakas and Negi.
There we go.
I was
that's in
thinking
April.
about Nagi, I think. Nagi, whatever.
Let's take comments and questions on all of that then in the 5 minutes that we've got before our next segment, which I think is just more of the same anyway, so we'll stay here. Start your question with Force 13 all in text, and let's see what we've got.
I mean,
already.
can this just stop? Holy frick.
What?
I'm still very turbulent right now while I'm at cruise.
Oh dear. I wonder how
what about
close
you?
they both are to Indy.
I mean,
Yeah,
sure,
I'm
it's
over-
the Indy. I mean, what could happen?
Who's going to get there first?
We actually did depart like pretty close at the same time, but I think our ground speeds are pretty close to each other because mine is 597. And what is yours, Ethan?
My ground speed in terms of knots,
Yeah.
593.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I think I
Anyway.
might take this race.
So yeah, we're fighting here between these aviation geeks and Hurricane Week.
Come on.
Comments here. Hurricane Tracker says, are we going to talk about Issa tomorrow? That's tomorrow night.
I think I've heard of
Issa
these. That name
Issa was
sounds-
April, right?
Yep.
If I remember correctly.
Do we remember Tropical Storm Henri?
Tropical Storm Henri. That was last year in the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I remember that one.
Me too.
That one actually hit whenever my mom was in New England, actually. So.
There was a storm that did the Fujiwara effect this year. It was Typhoon Hinamno. That was a
No.
comment.
Another one that did
No.
was Cyclone Vernon.
Vernon did. Hinamnor did not.
Let's get some more comments here. R Meow says, why? That's a really good question. Why? I mean, why anything? Why does Ethan exist? You know?
Why do I exist? Why is so... God.
Oh dear.
I mean, why did you type that question in the chat?
It's a good question.
I mean, that is just a completely stupid... Whoops.
Jawlock Gaming says, when can we get a 1979 Atlantic Hurricane Season animation remake?
Sorry about that noise. You guys heard nothing. You guys heard nothing.
And I should also point out that Army, our animation lead, is in here, so I don't suppose you might have an answer.
Can't recall if someone is wanted to remake that, but it does sound familiar. So maybe sometime soon.
All right. Oh, we've also got one of our most celebrated animators with us, Black Belt. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I didn't know Black Belt was here because I didn't get that little sound when people
just got
joined
here.
the Discord calls or whatever. Anyway, hello, Black Belt.
Hello.
Grenadine's Des says, did the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season troll the weather community? August was a great month, wasn't it, Ethan?
Yes.
Oh, I thought they were going to get more than that. Okay, never mind.
I mean, it was garbage. It was fantastic, though, in the East Pack.
How strong would Ian have gotten if Cuba got deleted?
Probably Cap.
Cuba didn't really affect Ian that much. Well, it
Yeah,
did,
probably
didn't it,
not much
really?
stronger.
I think it
Yeah,
like,
not much stronger because
briefly.
Ian emerged out of Cuba looking really good.
Yeah,
I think it
that
like weakened about like 5 miles an hour.
circular too. Kind of made me think of Orion's Eye, but it was just probably much smaller.
And a question there, when is the 2020 worldwide animation coming out? Yeah, it's still a top secret time. Keep watching, it hasn't happened yet. When will it be? Even Ethan
And the
doesn't know.
2020 wide animation.
Even Ethan doesn't know when it's going to be
I do.
shared.
Oh, really?
No, you
What is it?
don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I'm not saying anything, though. I've heard a few rumors.
Do you really? Do you really?
More comments here. There was a few undesignated storms with ASCAT evidence of forming during February and March, says Kobe.
There probably was, but my brain is too full of memories to remember those.
And do we recognize the various southeastern Pacific cyclones, Katie, Lexi, Umberto, Hinano, and any analysis on them? Well,
No
I've got
clue.
my database, and the team have been talking about various storms this season just gone, haven't you?
We've started reanalyzing. If I can say, if I can actually English, we've reanalyzed so far most of 2022 East Pack actually.
Oh,
And-
Northeast Pack.
And we've reanalyzed
Of course.
the few storms from the Atlantic, but that's it so far.
Right. Is that subtropical system in the Central Pacific now gone, Ethan?
Yes, that's gone.
Oh, God. Come on.
And is there a way I can find the Tahiti Meteorological Service's list of names, since they used to name South Pacific storms back in the 80s? Even I didn't know that, so I'll have to look into that for you.
What I can say, Nathan, is we're actually, well, I am. I don't know who where Lucas is, but I'm
see-
actually over southeastern Illinois right now.
This plane
About-
saga continues.
Yeah, we'll be crossing the state line
I'm in
just
it.
west of Evansville, Indiana, shortly.
Oh, I am in Illinois. I just crossed into Illinois.
Really? I'm ahead of you?
So that's where they are.
I'm ahead of Lucas.
Oh, come on, plane! Speed the frick up!
Skill issue.
I did say frick because I don't want to say the F word because I think there are younger viewers in here, so yeah, just keeping it family.
Right. Well, it's just gone midnight UTC, and that means, everyone, on the universal clock, it is now the final day of hurricane season. Yes! And
Come on!
still, we failed to get Hone, Ethan. And it
I
really
want-
started looking
we-
like we were
I
going to
wanted
get
to
it last
jump
week.
to the
And-
friggin'
Yeah,
Hone.
we had like a really good case.
And then we
like,
got trolled.
of bottles. Yeah.
It is getting quite
Of course,
funny
yeah.
at this point,
Do it.
isn't it?
It is.
Of course, the GFS was doing its thing by frickin', it does its thing every single time. Just friggin' trolls us whenever a storm happens and it chooses not to get that strong.
Over 3 years since Hone. Since we've been waiting for Hone.
I think probably 1,200 days now, I think,
Is it?
since it was out in July, mid-July.
And what was the
Damn.
last name? So was it Eva or Ema?
Ema, yeah.
Ema.
We had Akoni and then we had Ema. I remember
Did you not
Akoni
have
spread out. Akoni came out of like nowhere.
All right, so at this point of the show, we are supposed to be doing the Eye of the Storm episode 1, but no one has turned up.
How many people are picked for the Eye of the Storm?
Well, we had 6 people who were selected, and some of them did get back to me, and some of them have not got back to me. So check your inboxes, everyone who applied, and you'll know whether or not we sent you a message about Eye of the Storm to take part in. And please get back to us, and then we can do these games.
My.
Yes?
We've just been told, I know that you can't hear it, but we've just been told to
Mhm.
contact Indianapolis Center.
Oh.
So we've changed ATC centers, and we'll be
I thought it
crossing
was going to be
into
something
Indiana.
interesting for a minute.
Man, I'm
we're-
far away from Ethan. Oh my god.
I mean, we're crossing the Ohio River for like the 5th time now, from Illinois back into Kentucky.
One of our viewers
I'm
is
just-
saying it's been 1,143 days since waiting for Hone.
It's crazy.
Where's O'Hare?
Interesting.
There's O'Hare. I'm just to the northeast of O'Hare.
So
Like,
yeah,
a few-
no Eye of the Storm right now. So I don't suppose we might just want to do. Well, no, we'll talk about new cyclone discoveries that happened this year, shall we?
I have no clue on them, so that's all you.
It is all me, which is good news because Ethan's flying a plane and he's preoccupied.
And me too.
And
Don't forget about
Lucas too. Now, I was just checking today to see how many new images regarding tropical cyclones I had saved this year.
Dog.
And the answer is 1,974. That's how many images and videos of storms I've saved this year. Some of them images that people have already seen, but I always try and grab things that people haven't seen before. So that's my quest tonight, to try and show you some cyclone images that you may not have seen before, and then we'll see whether Ethan approves of them.
Sure.
And I
But
guess
in just a minute's time, Nathan, I
Yeah.
have to flex on Lucas here real quick.
You got a what?
I have to flex on Lucas real quick.
Why?
If you have a look at my screen down there somewhere is Evansville, Indiana.
Oh. Fascinating.
Hold on a second.
That's
Where is it?
amazing.
Where is it?
You've lost it. And during and whilst I find some of these images and videos, we can sort of do a little game that some people like to call Guess the Storm. I mean, we could do a little bit of just for fun guessing these storms as we see them on the screen, but it shouldn't take long for anyone to figure out half of them. Oh, that's a problem. These animated GIFs don't have a play pause button. Why not? They should incorporate those. Alright then, so I'm going to show you, pardon me, this first image, which is of a fascinating little storm that occurred not so long ago. Check out this. Here we are. This is Typhoon Lakima in 2019, and what a lovely little loop this is. Look at that little stalling motion. It just rebounds right round those tiny islands in between Miyakojima and Yayama islands of the southern Ryukyus. Ethan, what did you think of Typhoon Lakima? Has Ethan died? Lucas, hello? Anyone?
Why is it so quiet?
What's happened? It's just Army and I then. Yeah, so that's one thing. Ethan and Lucas appear to have died. That was an interesting moment. Something else that's that you may not have seen. No, I don't want GIFs. Can we just get some normal images? Just a minute, everyone. I'm trying to find some normal images. Just a moment. Right, that's more like it. What should I show? Oh, there's this one. This is a cool one. Here's a lovely image. Look at that, everyone. And this is bound to bring Ethan bounding back like a excited hoppy rabbit. Ethan? Alright, well at this point, I should also let everyone know that half of our team are preoccupied, as you would expect, with this US severe outbreak that's currently going on. I just want to report right now there has just been a PDS tornado warning issued in Louisiana right now. So that is some active news at the moment. But this image here, and you can find that on the US channel live. They're live right now. They've been live all day with the latest over there. But this image is, of course, Hurricane Rita, Ethan's favourite. And a new look at Rita there on a different type of image. Certainly by my... And you got to see all my files there for a minute. By my... to my eyes. Here's another one. It's a random image here from Digital Typhoon showing two storms there in June 1990. I can't remember what that one was about. It was probably for an On This Day section. And there's another one. That is an image of Cyclone Funny off the coast of India. And there is an image, lovely, lovely image here of Typhoon Ivan in 1997. Gorgeous eye shape, 185 mile an hour category 5, and tag teamed with Joan off to its east, both peaking at the same time nearly. I think the closest it got was one of them was 180 and one of them was 185, or one of them might have been 185 and the other one was 190. I can't remember now, but that was a crazy time. It is very suspicious, Army, that we lost Ethan and Lucas at the same time and they're flying in the same area.
Yeah,
Do you
that is
reckon?
true.
Do you reckon Mitchell might have got access to the nuclear codes and, you know, did something?
Probably.
Yeah.
To Indianapolis. This is not good. What's next on my new findings? I mean, these are just images at the minute of storms that we already know. Typhoon Paca, 1997. There's another one of Ivan. And that, I think, is another one of... Oh, no, that was Paca there and Ivan. And there's 2C in 1987. Loads of lovely storms. Let me stop that for a minute. Well, no, we'll keep that up. And we'll roll through a few more images in a moment. But I'm not sure what my biggest findings have been, if I'm being honest, for this year. I found a lot of really old storms from very old years. In the later part of this year, I started documenting a lot more Australian region. I'm starting to go a little bit more into depth with old Australian region storms. But I can't remember... If I just go through my extremely long list of... I mean, the amount of things that... I mean, sometimes, Army, I just go off like a... I don't know, I just go digging and digging and digging, and... It's quite, what's the
I'm
word?
back.
Oh, where have you been?
I ordered Whataburger for dinner tonight, so that's why.
And
I was
where's
gone.
Ethan? What did you do with Ethan?
What do you mean? What did I do with Ethan? I did nothing. I was.
Well, Ethan.
Right, sorry about that. I'm back
you-
now.
I swear.
Yeah, I had to step away for a second.
What happened, guys?
Both showed up at the same time.
Yeah, we thought that something suspicious had happened in Indiana.
No.
Actually, speaking of Indiana, I'm just about to cross Indiana.
Well, I am crossing the state line right now.
We're pretty close.
They are close.
And welcome to Indiana.
There
I
we
gotta
go.
speed. I gotta get my ground speed up so I can catch up.
Right, Ethan, what do you think has been the most interesting finding that we've made this year?
That you've made this year?
Or you?
Oh,
I'm just
probably just how impressive Typhoon Zeb was.
Wait, what?
Just how impressive Zeb was.
Why was it impressive?
Because I found that its peak, while GTWC has it at 180 miles per hour, it's probably a lot stronger than that.
Oh. So in 2022, I found lots of damages from old typhoons. Some of the pictures that you were seeing in our top 100, found a few of those. And also this year, I found a 5th image of Typhoon Ida's eye, the one from 1958. So now we have 5 images of a typhoon eye, or tropical cyclone eye, from before satellites. Yeah, what do you think of that? There's one. There's number 1 of Ida. And these are all taken, if you're wondering, from U-2 planes. Some of those fighter jets that they had, or not fighters, but very high altitude.
Was that Mitchell?
Yeah.
Very high altitude military planes that they had that flew up to about 60,000 feet.
Just crossed Indiana.
And took 5 images of Ida. There's the second one. These are the ones we've already found. There's the third one. And onto the 4th one. And here is the brand new, undiscovered until now, 5th image of Typhoon Ida's eye. There it is. There you go.
Wow.
What do you think about that, Ethan?
Beautiful.
Certainly is. How long ago was that? That was 1958.
Mm-hmm.
So, long before... Well, not long before satellite, but quite a bit before satellite images. Those were the 5. What else did we find in that time? Let me go and take another look. I'm trying to put all these together as quickly as possible. You just can't really do that when you're finding old things. Alright, yes, actually. So, Westpac fans, I found quite a few old images from storms from above. Such as... Where is it? This one. This is actually an unknown storm. But we think we know what it is. We're just not sure. So let's play Guess the Storm. Ethan, what is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're not properly going to do Guess. This,
What is it, Ethan?
Who's that? We believe this is not Cyclone. We believe this is Typhoon Zelda in 1994.
Legends of Zelda.
Great image.
Legends of.
Yep. Hello, Seven.
Hi.
Welcome back. What did you think of the show so far?
Oh, are you guys doing Guess the Storm?
No, we're going through my new findings of the year so far, and I found quite a few new images this year.
Oh, I'm waiting on another friend.
Oh.
I'm waiting on, I have something being delivered.
Ah.
I wonder what it is.
I also found this image. This is a great image. And what do you think this one is, Ethan?
Have a look. Is that Gloria?
No. How old do you think it is?
1970s.
Then it wouldn't be Gloria, would it?
1980s?
Unless you mean Typhoon Gloria.
I don't know.
But no, this is Typhoon Pat. Pat! In 1985. And what's very notable about this image is that it's believed to be the earliest non-satellite space photo of a Pacific typhoon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Believed to be. We're not fully sure. But there we go. Typhoon Pat. Looked quite good as well. Fairly deep eye. I think it was taken by one of the space shuttles. Now, let me find...
I loved growing up at the space shuttle.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it in person on the shuttle carrier aircraft on Elton Field. I saw Endeavour.
Yeah.
I think I was only like 7? 7 years old.
Alright, here's some more things that I found this year. And now I'm onto my proper list, so it'll go a lot quicker, including some of my findings. Intensity findings, that is. So, I found... Where is it? That? I'll just turn this off first. I found this. This image of a cyclone affecting India, Cyclone 13, that occurred in 1971. I upgraded it from 85 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour based on that image. What? Whose automated voice was calling them a useless human being?
You heard that?
Yes.
I did too.
I heard that.
I have this funny Siri thing. Whenever
Be
I plug
quick.
in my phone, it says, "Thank you, you useless human being."
Ethan.
Did you upload your photos?
Here,
What?
Stupid interruption.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I also got wind data for an upgrade to Cyclone 7 in 1912 in the Indian Ocean, based on wind data from 85 miles an hour to 100. Cyclone 9 in 1972, that got upgraded from 90 miles per hour to 100. There it is. That's an image of Cyclone 9.
And did you change the pressure a bit since you changed the speed?
We don't have pressure estimates on these.
Okay.
There's also a new image of Cyclone 17 in the Bay of Bengal in December 1966. There it is. Lovely. And we also have a new image of Cyclone Bella in the Southwest Indian Ocean on December the 4th, 1966. There it is.
So what peaks did you give those two storms, Cyclone 17 and Bella?
Oh, I've no idea. I didn't actually change anything, so. Also, we found a picture of Cyclone Clara Elisa near peak on December 23rd, 1966. There it is.
Which basin did that storm cross into?
That's the Southwest Indian Ocean, and that was rated as a Category 1, and we think it was stronger than that, looking at that image. Also, I've not got an image, but satellite imagery suggests that Daphne of the same season, the official word is that it was a Category 1, but it was actually barely even traceable, is what I wrote in my remarks section there. Let's see, some more images. I hope people find this interesting because this is sort of what I'm doing. Cyclone Gilbert on January the 11th, 1967. There it is. These are all new image findings. And a new image of a likely hurricane strength cyclone that went undetected. Brand new. Undetected tropical cyclone that occurred in April 1967 near Tonga.
Ooh.
There you go. You're looking at a cyclone that hasn't been discovered until now. And an alternate image of that same storm. There it is. A small thing, but clearly has an eye.
Erupted around the 60s.
What's that?
I wonder if Tonga erupted like around the 60s or something.
No idea. Also on May the 14th, 1967, we have this system. That was marked as a tropical disturbance by Meteo France, but it looks to me as though it was an actual cyclone. Oh, and I've just realised that was the wrong version of it, I think. Or is it? Yeah, that's the mirrored version. A lot of these are mirrored, unfortunately. But that is in the Southwest Indian Ocean. And in the same period, in 1967, there was also another storm that struck Myanmar, May 15th. There it is. That looks quite impressive. And... yes?
No, go ahead.
And then I made another comment saying, I don't really understand what that means anymore. Not often that I'm the first of this generation to have seen unseen Atlantic storms, but here's one. Oh yeah, so people would have seen it at the time, but people of our generation won't have seen this before. Yes, we get to see something for the first time in the Atlantic. Where is it? Yeah, Tropical Storm 2 in June 1967. There it is. No one's seen that before. For whatever good that's worth. Let's fast forward to some more interesting stuff.
So Ethan, I'm actually about to make the left turn onto runway 23 right. How are you
they're
doing?
Landing?
Yeah. Oh, you're up there?
Yeah, I'm maintaining 6,000 feet.
Yeah, I think you're gonna beat me. I hate to say it.
Oh no.
Ha!
Well, that's only because I had to go AFK for a solid minute.
Look at this image, Ethan. What do you think about this image?
That's a lot of damage.
I can't believe my flight has been turbulent this entire time. Holy frick.
There is something to do with this image / storm that is a world record. What do you think it is? First of all, where do you think it is?
Japan?
No.
What?
What's the record then?
Highest rainfall? No, I couldn't be a thing. Longest no, I don't know.
Lucas, what do you think?
I do not know either.
Army, any thoughts outside the box?
Maybe something correlating to the damage seen in the photo?
Well, I can tell you with this storm, this is now believed to be the first ever image of cyclone damage. This image was taken in 1864.
Wow.
Yeah, in Queensland, Australia. Flooding in Brisbane. I don't know if that's actually Brisbane, but in the Brisbane area there in March 1864 from a tropical cyclone. There we are. History right there. Yeah, Ethan's so impressed he's speechless.
No, I'm just focusing on my descent still.
Wait. 64, 70, 80, 90, 04, 14, 24, 23, 22.
What?
That is 258 years ago.
158.
Yeah, 158. My fault. My God, what is wrong with me?
Also, and some Westpac fans will like this one, a brand new image. In fact, there's a few brand new images of Typhoon Yuri, 1991. There it is.
Oh my God, guys, my package is here.
Yes.
Look.
What? Oh, Seven's got a home on me. Let's just take a look. What?
Hello. Oh, thank you. Oh my god, there
Why
it is.
did we take that live?
Hold on, I'll be right.
Okay.
There's a brand new image of Typhoon Yuri. Ain't that beautiful? That really was a very
Yes, it
picturesque
is.
storm. And also, you may be very well aware of these images from above. I'm sure most people will have seen this one and maybe that one. Those are very common images, is what I would call them. But there have been more images that have been uncovered from the flyover from, I think, a shuttle or something like that. Take a look at some of these. More images of Yuri. Look at that eye. Gorgeous. Clearly near peak still there on that image. There's another one. Yuri from a bit more of a distance. A stunner. And further away. And the furthest distance there in the distance. Great images of Yuri there, Ethan. And I showed you those a while back.
Alright, well, things are about to get a little bit intense on my screen share, Nathan.
Yeah, well, alright then, what's going on?
About to pass through the clouds. We descend on into Indianapolis here.
Alright.
It is real intense for me. The winds are like 50. God, frick. I don't know why. 51 knots. And I hope
Anyway,
I'll be able to.
Have you gotten a response from people doing Eye of the Storm yet?
No.
That's unfortunate.
Well, we're not going to be doing it today, but eventually we'll be getting other people who wanted to take part, and we know that Ethan and Christian are two of those. Aren't you?
I completely forgot Ethan and Christian got picked for Eye of the Storm.
Well, they haven't yet, but they'll stand in if people keep not turning up. Let's see what other old things that I discovered this year. Well, I'm just going to read straight off my notes that I wrote. So, a new information on Typhoon 1 back in 1904. Not much known about the storm, but it reportedly killed 5,000 somewhere in Vietnam. But we now know that the storm, which struck on May the 1st, most affected Go Cong and My Tho, just south of Saigon. And a 3-meter storm surge was reported.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, there's the runway. I see it.
Runway's Ethan's landing?
No, I'm landing.
You're landing?
Lucas is.
Lucas
I think I'm about to see the airport anyway, so we're both about to.
I can see it too.
Hold on, why is it daytime there?
It has to be. No, I had to change the time a little bit because I can't quite see well while landing in the dark.
Weak. Well, there's the airport.
Fine, I'll change the time then.
Where?
Oh yeah, I can still see it.
Where that marker is on the left. That's the airport.
Oh, shit.
Well, you're not landing there by the looks of it.
Shit.
Well, no, because we have to loop around.
God. Whoa.
4 miles away. But Lucas is on. Are you on Lucas is on final.
Yeah.
He's going to land first. By the way, what planes are you flying?
I am flying a Southwest 737-800 in the Canyon Blue livery.
Bloody hell.
We're both.
And Ethan's flying what? The same thing?
737-700 in the Heart livery. Oh, look at that.
No idea.
There we go, breaking through the clouds now.
Oh,
There's the
Ethan's
airport.
broken through the clouds. All right. Who's landing first? It looks like it's going to be Lucas unless Ethan does a very uncomfortable...
No, this wind is like pushing me. It's trying to slow me down.
Or maybe Lucas might have a nasty accident before reaching the runway.
Oh, frick no. That is
could
impossible.
happen.
That'd be way too embarrassing if that happens.
I'm
not taking that shit.
I mean, I don't know if people want to watch this, but we'll have this running now because we're not really doing much else at the moment. Just a reminder that we have
Turn the audio on.
We have a paused screen.
I don't know if you guys saw earlier, but I tased myself.
Easy. Oh yeah, I'm way off.
But the Super Cyclone Challenge runs another episode in 27 minutes, so you don't want to go away before that because going to be more cyclonic fun. Ryan Leahy, we didn't really get to touch on that at the beginning. What did you think of his performance, guys?
He was pretty good. He tried his best.
You know,
Did you say lackluster,
Ethan
Ethan?
actually wanted. Ethan wanted him to fail.
You think you could have done better, Ethan?
Actually.
Yes, I do. Well, when it comes to Leahy and the Super Cyclone Challenge, he's typically one of the best. So it really surprises me that he didn't get very high.
You try it then, smarty pants.
Smarty pants.
I did try, but I didn't get in.
Yeah, you didn't. To be fair, you did apply. You never got in. Sad. Well, Lucas is on final here, and I can't see him not landing it, so he's going to win this race. This is a race, everyone, in case you didn't know.
Well, he only won it because I had to go AFK for 5 minutes.
Yikes.
I think... Oh, no, I think the wind's starting to die down a bit.
Let's have some more questions, and actually, this sort of opens the way here to maybe taking some requests of images that we might have in our archives. Carter says, do you have anything on Yunya in 1991? It hit the Philippines at the same time as the infamous Mount Pinatubo eruption. I'll show you that in a moment. Storm Tracker HQ says, what about the other 2018 animation? There were supposed to be 2 today, but one of them is not anymore.
That's gotta be it.
One of them is not anymore because the animation wasn't ready.
Oh dear, Lucas, you might have to go around.
No, never mind.
He's down.
Oh no, wait! What the hell?
What?
Oh my god, what?
Now what?
I forgot to get my gear down.
Well, guess what? I won't. Landing gear's coming on down.
Well, look at this.
What?
Runway is in sight.
Does that mean disqualification? Is that possible?
Oh dear, Lucas.
I mean, look at this.
Andrew says, do we have any more Kamisi 1984 space photos? I tell you what, we've got loads of Kamisi photos. We'll show you in a moment. There's some great imagery of Kamisi.
And we're on.
Time to watch Ethan's. I guess you won this race.
Oh boy. Yeah, if only you'd have put down the landing gear.
I'm such an idiot.
Oh my god, guys.
Yes.
So earlier when I was getting my package, after I brought it in, I just tased myself.
You know what, let me check the chat to see if anybody freaking messaged about my landing. That would be embarrassing as hell.
Isn't that kind of dangerous?
Here you go.
Mashed potatoes.
Are you okay?
Lucas.
Yeah, I'm
Blooper,
okay.
That's a flashlight. That's a taser.
You've got
little
2 now.
skill issue. Sad. God, shut up, guys. God damn it, guys. Jesus.
What in the
And
world?
also, someone said Lucas blooper. That is not a blooper. Now shut up.
Oh,
shut up.
Lucas
it's not a blooper.
I see. Lucas is now arguing with viewers.
I'm not arguing. I'm unhappy about how I friggin' performed.
Yes.
And why do you have a taser, Seven?
I don't know.
I have 2.
God,
Canadian
A
says,
taser and a flashlight.
which Category 5 strength tropical cyclone image do you think is the best looking? Odd question. Ethan, what do you think?
Rita 2005.
Oh, of course. Sorry, I shouldn't even have thought that. I just want to break in to talk about current events. Actually, there is a PDS tornado warning active in northeastern Mississippi right now. Just to bring that to everyone's attention. Our US channel is running live coverage of that right now on Force 13 US, so head on over there if you want to find out the latest on tonight's outbreak.
Short final now.
Yep, Ethan's nearly there, and it's
passing
very...
over Interstate 465 here in just a minute.
And your house, probably.
Nope.
Very disappointing that Ethan's going to win again. Ivan says, no bloopers, you're grounded. Also, the nicest in my opinion would be Wilma 2005 and Patricia. No, to both.
I mean, I guess Wilma was nice to look at because of the pinhole eye. Patricia just had very cold cloud tops. The eye on Patricia was also pretty small, wasn't it?
Yeah. How small was it now? It's about 10 miles.
I can't recall the...
Or 8 miles. I don't know. And Wilma's was only... Was it 2 miles?
I think so.
Gee.
I think it was 2 or 3 miles wide.
Oh, Ethan, looks like a question for you here. Silly Steve says, why did you guys get 205 mile an hour winds for Rita 1978 compared to your 185 mile an hour estimate from last year?
Whoa, you are way off the runway.
Yeah, I know.
If I was a passenger, I'd be a bit
Both of our
concerned.
landings are so bad. Frick.
Going off the runway.
Bit concerned.
Slow that boy down.
All right. So let's take some of those requests.
Wait, you said Rita 1978, right?
Yeah. Why has that happened?
So Recon actually didn't get any wind readings, but what we do know about Rita was Recon went in and got a 880 millibar first peak, and then obviously the pressure rose a few millibars up towards probably the high 890s, but then it deepened down to its record low of 876, I think is what we have it at, per Recon, of course. And what we did is we have this thing called CKZ, where you can take the wind speed of a storm and plop in a few other data sets, such as radius of max winds, environmental pressure, movement speed, and the position of the storm, as well as the wind speed, and you can get a pressure value. Basically, what we did instead of inserting the wind value, we inserted the pressure value instead. And that ended up giving us a wind speed of 205 miles per hour. And that's the basis behind that peak intensity of Rita.
I don't know if that flies, but here's an image of Yunya during the... You can just about make out the beginning of the Pinatubo eruption right there. And Yunya, which was a very weak thing in the first place. And there, a close look at Pinatubo after the eruption reached its minimum point. And there it is continuing. Those cloud tops on the south are part of Yunya, mixed in with those volcanic clouds, which are rapidly expanding by that point. Really, really fascinating case study, I suppose, with Yunya. There's also, if you haven't seen this before, some people have, some people haven't. This is a loop of infrared imagery when when Pinatubo exploded. Look at this. There it goes. Slow animation. Boom. There's that big, massive explosion.
Wow.
So I think there's a little bit from Pinatubo there, but I'm not sure if that might have just been Yunya. But then you can really see it explodes there. And it just reminds you of the... To me, it's very reminiscent of what we saw earlier this year with Hunga Tonga.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too.
I think some things or some estimates or something have Hunga Tonga being a stronger eruption than Mount Pinatubo.
Yeah, I think there was a study that's just come out that says that it was 1.8 times more powerful than Pinatubo. But as you can see, the clouds on Pinatubo were much bigger, and that's because Hunga Tonga was underneath the sea, of course.
Yeah, when Pinatubo was on land.
Mm-hmm.
And
Really
I wonder what
fascinating.
rating. I wonder what ratings these two volcanoes got in the explosivity index.
Don't know.
Right, we're just
Because I've
passing
seen a
into
couple.
the.
I've seen a couple of reviews about Tonga. And I think Tonga got a 5. I think.
We're just taxiing into the gate area now, and
Did you say you're just
I've actually
crashing
got.
into the gate area?
No.
Oh.
I might have. I don't know if I did or not.
Imagine if
but this is actually how the airport looks in real life, by the way.
Oh. Well, how about that? All right. There was a Kamisi fan in the chat before, and I am too. It's a beautiful storm. Here are a selection of images of Cyclone Kamisi from space, 1984, Category 5. Look at that beauty. You can see all the way down through that eye wall into the eye itself there. And there's loads of images of it. There's another one. Not quite as good on that image. Another one where it's on the
It's a
limb.
southern hemisphere system.
Yep. In the distance
Which
that
base?
time. And there's another one.
Wonder what base it is.
This is the Southwest Indian.
Okay.
And another one. Wowee. And another one. A little bit more faded, that one. But you can clearly see inside the eye. And there's another. That might actually be the same as one of those earlier images, but less enhanced. And there is one, I think must be late on in its life. You can see it there. Looks like it's very little convection by that point. Entering a remnant low phase, looks like, from here. There's another one near peak. Delightful eye feature. Look at that there again.
I wonder
Classic
how long
Category 5 appearance.
For.
And again there.
I think my scenery wins here, Lucas, I hate to say.
Loads of images of Kamisi.
What, Ethan?
Would you say that Kamisi is one of your personal favorites, Nathan, of the Southern Hemisphere?
Yeah, I suppose it is in the certainly in the Southwest Indian Ocean.
Well, we're just about to pull up to the gate here.
And there it is again in the distance. Let's take a look at Ethan's damn gate.
There's a 737X.
Look how beautiful this airport looks. And the nice thing is, I'll show you here in a minute, but I can actually go inside the terminal, actually.
There's a nice little max there as well.
You could just do it in real life.
I could, but I mean, I can't go behind TSA without a ticket.
And there's another max.
People saying any images of the Bola cyclone, you'll see plenty of images of that storm on our top 100 because it's there. I'm showing you Kamisi because it's not there. I mean, this is a sort of a way to eliminate storms that aren't in the top 100. But yeah. So there's Ethan pulling into his little gate. And that's that. I think what we're going to... Yes?
He'll be walking into the terminal.
I think what we're going to do tonight, we're supposed to be finishing up at 2 a.m. UTC, which is just over an hour from now. But because some of the things that we're supposed to be doing haven't happened, we're probably going to end at 1:30, which means we've got Super Cyclone Challenge coming up in just over 10 minutes, and then that will take us all the way to the end of the show. So now we've got about 5 to 10 minutes to gawk at Ethan's silly plane game.
My God.
And
it's Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mean, how could you not
okay.
enjoy this?
And then about 3 minutes, is it, Ethan, to look at this other animation tonight?
What, sorry?
The second animation tonight?
I think it's around there. I could honestly screen share it if you want.
No. We're gonna... I've got it here.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's only 2 minutes long, so we're going to show that in about 10 minutes. So the second and final animation of tonight. Loads of fun stuff coming. Yeah, loads of fun stuff coming up later on this week. Tomorrow night.
A person.
Wow. Tomorrow night is the end of hurricane season countdown. Hooray! We should play games and stuff on that one.
I'll definitely play on that.
We have more monthly summaries. We have some surprising animations that Black Belt is desperate to tell you all about, but is thankfully keeping it all to himself. So that's good.
While we're here, actually, Black Belt has an animation to show.
I don't.
What?
You don't have it? What do you mean you don't have it?
You know, I'll just load up an old version of it.
Do you really have an animation?
Now I'm confused.
Why are you confused?
What are these people hiding from me?
Just load up an old version of... yeah, fine. I'll just load up an old version of 1886 in the screen share.
Oh.
No, I wasn't talking about that. The other thing, Black Belt.
Oh, you mean the Team Hypo? Yeah, I have that saved. Or you mean CHP6?
Now you spoiled it now.
Or what? I thought we mentioned about it.
Wait, we're doing a Team Hypo?
Wait, what? Wait, we're doing a Team Hypo? I don't know if we're doing a Team Hypo.
We're doing a Team Hypo.
I've never been animated Team Hypo. What are you
Well, I certainly never animated one. Who's animated one? Has someone actually animated one?
I thought it was Ethan animating the Team Hypo.
I wasn't aware of it.
Was it Ethan?
I don't animate hypos, okay?
I don't animate hypos anymore. It must have been Army.
That's what you want us to think, Ethan.
What?
What's going on?
What do you mean?
Ethan.
What is going on?
This is just just gone to complete chaos. Everything is completely fine.
Yeah, in short, we've no idea whether there's going to be a Team Hypo or not, but if there is, look out for it in the most unexpected of corners, because even I don't know if there's going to be one or not. What I do know is that we do have the 2020 worldwide animation coming up this week at another undisclosed time. Alright, I'll tell you, it's not going to be tonight. Alright, so I guess you can tune out if you're waiting for that tonight. But please don't, because we've got another Super Cyclone challenge and another little animation coming up in a few minutes. But the 2020 worldwide is coming. What's that?
I've got to go run and grab a present for the viewers.
Oh, you're wait, what?
Ooh.
Ethan's grabbing a present for us. Well, keep sending in your comments and questions. We've got about 10 minutes here, viewers.
You think it's a little too early to celebrate Christmas, Ethan?
He's gone.
Ethan?
I mean, at this point, we're past Thanksgiving here in the US, so...
A comment there. Do you have any images of Litan in 1994? We do. There's a lovely image of Litan here. Let's take a look at this.
Litan.
Yep, this is Litan. You can see it
Is
there.
it a hurricane?
What?
What is that noise? Stop!
Yeah, not a great noise. There's Litan. And there's another image of Litan.
Right.
I'm
back.
Nice looking.
And I am...
No way! The space
with my
shuttle was
present right now.
Pictures.
Hello. Hello, Mitchell. Hold on a second.
Mitchell?
I literally saw the previous picture.
Ooh,
the space shuttle was I think it was the...
Hold on a minute.
What?
It's Mitchell.
What?
And we get to see Ethan as well.
There's big...
Good old Mitch.
Hurricane
Now,
Mitch.
Nathan, are we doing 413 awards this week?
We are. Yeah, we're doing the awards night on Saturday where we're going to be giving out
Vote this guy for
awards.
413 Pet. No, come here. Come here. Vote this guy for 413 Pet, please.
Luna.
Luna. Please.
Don't mind if I just...
Also, just don't point out how much Christmas lights I have in my room.
Oh, wow.
Don't mind it. Totally don't have a lot.
Oh,
Ethan, what have you been doing?
What? Well, I
What?
Christmas lights. I actually still have some that I haven't even put up yet. See,
Guys,
here they are.
Oh my god.
Man.
A lot of
How many light strands do you have?
What?
Well, I have a lot, and I'll actually show you here because what I have is, I don't know if you can see it, but I have like these nice little hooks where lights used to hang in my room, and I've just got them hanged all over the place. I think it adds a little bit of character to my room.
Now here at Force 13 HQ, who's that?
What? Oh my!
Lucas and who?
Say hi.
You want to say hi?
Doing?
Who is it?
You want to say? You want to say hi?
Hello.
What?
So we've burst out into Pet Central here for the moment.
What the hell are you doing? No! Oh gosh!
I just want to point out that our decorations here usually come up straight after the end of Hurricane Week. But sometimes, if we're busy with more storm stuff, then we just do it whenever we can.
Anyway, that was my dog Luna.
Yeah, that was nice. We think we all enjoyed that.
She's 7 years old right now.
Ah.
He looks like he wants something. I don't know what he wants. But he's there.
Does she make remixes like the other Luna?
And speaking of which, later this week on Thursday, we've got our Force 13 remix collection coming up.
Looking forward to that.
Right then.
I'd like to see what my fellow remixers have got.
Also, there's somebody else here.
Oh, who's that? Cat?
Darcy. Yep,
it's a cat.
She's such a good girl. I mean, look at her. She's just chilling here.
Here we go.
Also,
All right.
my grandpa's gonna move in soon, which means we're gonna have 4 cats in our.
No way, 4 cats.
Yeah, 4 cats, along with my dog Luna and my. Whoops. On the light. Where? My hamster. Oh, there he is.
Even a hamster lives there.
You can see him in there.
Yeah. Rippy says, will you retire Hermine since it killed 33 people and destroyed a ship? We don't retire storms, I'm sorry to tell you.
We don't retire
you can say that we regret to inform them.
What?
But we don't.
We regret to inform you we do not retire systems.
Yep, we regret to inform you that we do not retire systems. The World Meteorological Organization does.
Let's take a look at this next feature then, Ethan, this animation. What is it?
It's a very underestimated storm, caused, I believe, a humanitarian crisis in, of all places, Mexico. It's another East Pac one.
And it isn't in Force 13's Top 100.
What?
Why? Why?
I like that reaction.
What's the matter, Ethan?
It should be.
It isn't.
I mean, it was one of
barking again.
Oh, how many retired storms are there in the Eastern Pacific?
Let's just get on with it. Here is the animation. Bloody hell, that's loud. Ethan! Get over here. Ethan, get over here.
What?
Yeah. Where's the Winfield?
Ethan, get your ass over here.
Where do you... Where's the Winfield?
Well, I couldn't find any Winfield data at all.
There's gonna be Winfield data.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say.
The loud outro scared everyone, so you need to tone that down.
Skill issue?
Yeah. Surely the
For them?
Winfield was right. No, for you. Surely the
I mean,
Winfield was right there.
No, because the NHC cone didn't have any. IB tracks didn't have any.
Heard that?
Not from what I saw.
IB tracks didn't have any. That's interesting.
Whoa.
No.
Alex joined. Hey,
I mean,
Alex.
I can double
I have
check.
3 minutes, okay?
Yeah, we've only got about 2, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, none.
Well,
no,
yeah.
no one did at all.
I
mean, the one place that I could think that would have it would be that JTWC archive that you sent me, the warning archive. But
yeah,
I animated Kenna way before I started on the track of Nargis, and by the time that you sent me that archive, I had already deleted Kenna already. So
this is bull, Ethan.
It's not.
There's an NHC product.
I was gonna say, yeah, Ethan, where's the Winfield?
It has the wind swath, but it updates continuously along its whole life. It doesn't show the initial one.
Or none on IB tracks? Or however the hell you say it.
What do you want?
Ethan,
What
I'm not
bro,
happy
what do you
with
mean
this response.
Bro, what do you mean there's no Winfield data? There's literally a bunch on IB
There
tracks.
is not Winfield data.
We've got to do a full-scale
Oh, yes, there is
investigation.
USA
here.
R34 right there.
Find any Winfield data.
Ethan, I'm looking at Kenna advisories that have Winfields.
I mean,
yeah, bro.
There are NHC advisories that have Winfields. I just picked a random date, 21Z, Wednesday, October 23rd, 34 not Winfield, 75, 75, 75, 75.
Bro, there's also Winfield on IB tracks. You could have used IB tracks. You could have used the advisatories.
Advisatories? Wow. That's
I don't know, bro.
That's a new one. So, Ethan, that was, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. But, Jesus Christ, no, that thing was really loud.
Yeah, a little bit.
It scared
It was a
me.
little, yeah, it wasn't great. So much so that you joined.
I was listening in until...
Just one more comment there before we move on to the Super Cyclone Challenge again. Does the 2022 hurricane season count as above average with 14 tropical storms, 8 hurricanes, and 2 majors? Question of the night, guys.
That is actually a really good question, and I'm not. I think it might be slightly above average in terms of named storms.
But if you're counting for like 2016 to 2021, then probably below. Because the first season is 2015 not to reach the O name, although there was 17s designations.
What is
the average is 14 named storms, and we got that. The average is 7 hurricanes. We got 8, and the average is 3 majors, and we only got 2 this year.
Technically 3 if you count Bonnie and the East Patch.
No, we don't count that. So
No, not
average
really.
then.
Yeah, so pretty average. But what's the? This is really a question for you, Nathan. What is the average ace per hurricane season?
Like more than 100.
Let me check the accumulated cyclone energy on Wikipedia.
Why do I feel like it's like
it says here on the
100?
Wikipedia article, the average ace value is between 72 and 111, and so far
It
the
depends
ace
what.
of this
It depends what
season-
time period.
Yeah, and so far the ace value so far this year officially is 95.1. So that's pretty average, I'd say.
It depends what time period you're talking about. If we're talking 1980 to 2010, it's below average.
I think so.
So it's definitely above average if you compare it to more recent years.
Yep.
It's below average. It's below average, Ace. That's just simple as it's below average.
I think that this hurricane season, as far as it goes, is really going to be. Shut up, Mitchell.
Not nice.
We just got a blooper reel, folks.
All right, yeah, no, that's going to the blooper reel. Yeah, no, that's going to the blooper reel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mitchell.
Yes.
Anyway, as I was saying, I really think that this hurricane season is going to be remembered because it was forecast to be one of the most active ever recorded, and it ended up being around average. And the Eastern Pacific had the complete opposite. It was forecast to be. It was forecast to be really below average, and it ended up being really above average, to be honest.
All right, guys, we have to go to the Super Cyclone Challenge. I'm going to press this button. I don't know if things will malfunction or not. Usually it does. Let's see what happens when I click the Super Cyclone Challenge button. Thanks to my team here for taking part tonight. We'll see them again tomorrow, but now, our Super Cyclone Challenge contestant. Here we are back in the studio again for another live episode of the Super Cyclone Challenge. My name is Nathan Foy here in the studio, and we're throwing things together quite quickly here. Our contestant is with us. I don't know if you're able to show webcam, but we would appreciate that as well. There we go. And tonight, on the Super Cyclone Challenge, we are with our second contestant who got through the application process. They were picked at random. 6 people were successful with the chance to win a whole bunch of prizes. What happens is tonight they'll play, in this case, and whatever mile per hour they get up to in the game will be their winnings in USD. And then at the end of the week, they all play in the all-in game. And the winner of that wins a GoPro 11. The second prize is a Yeti Blue microphone, I think. And there's other prizes for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But no prize for 6. Ooh, we're harsh, aren't we? Alright then, let's introduce our contestant tonight. And we have played before, but it never got to air. We might be able to air that at some point, some other time. But for the time being, they're back again. We're joined by Trinankur. Hello.
Hello there.
Oh, I've lost you. Hold on a minute. We're back. Hello.
Hello there.
You joined us from, is it West Bengal in India?
From India.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just near Bangladesh.
That's right. So, Trin, what inspired you to take part in the Super Cyclone Challenge this year?
I always interested in Super Cyclone. Cyclone thing. So playing in Super Cyclone Challenge is quite interesting for me, as there's a lot of questions and answers which I don't know the answers, and I can learn here many things from. So, and I also test my knowledge how far I can play. So it helps me a lot.
Is this where your future's headed, into meteorology, into this kind of?
Yes, I wanted to work in the meteorological field, and I also wanted to be a cyclone chaser in the North Indian Ocean, like Josh Morgan. I inspired from him too. So, and nobody in North Indian Ocean chases cyclone that much, but it is one of the deadliest cyclone happened here pretty often. So I have think about chasing cyclone here and revealing what is the condition after cyclone goes through here in future.
All right, very good. That sounds good to me. As always, on the Super Cyclone Challenge, we have our usual format of 24 questions, which get you up the mile-per-hour tree, and our 5 safe zones at 40 miles an hour, 75, 115, 150, and 180. We also have those 4 lifelines to begin with, the half-time, 50-50, flip the question, and risk. You can stop the clock to take out a lifeline at any point during the questions. And if you get your first 5 questions correct in a row, you get the 5th lifeline added on, the double dip. We've lost your... Oh, we've got your video back. Hello?
What's going on? Yes.
Well, that's a poor signal. Yes, we're back. Let's hope that doesn't interfere. We've had many problems with signal before with other players. Did you hear all of that? Are you familiar with the rules?
Can you repeat the lifeline again, please?
Yep, so the lifelines, we have the half-time, 50-50, flip the question, and risk. And if you get the first 5 questions in a row correct, then you get given, without using a lifeline, then you get given the double dip. Fun times. Your first 4 questions have a 20-second timer, so make sure you're pretty snappy. And I wish you the best of luck, Trin. Any questions before we start?
Thank you. No, let's start again.
Let's go. Question number 1 for 20 miles per hour. If I just make sure that everything is ready, it appears to be. Here we go. Which agency is responsible for cyclone tracking in the Atlantic? Is it the Bureau of Meteorology, National Hurricane Center, Space Weather Prediction Center, or the Cloud Appreciation Society?
National Hurricane Center.
Final answer.
B probably. National Hurricane Center.
That's the right answer for 20 miles an hour. Yeah.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, the Cloud Appreciation Society. That would have been interesting.
Which organization? I didn't hear about that organization.
No. And it... Oh dear, I've pressed the wrong button. Okay, never mind that. It's not Force 13 either. I was thinking of putting that into the question, into the potential answers, but someone might have got too confused. On to question 2, which will get us up to 30 miles per hour and closer to tropical storm status. Here it is.
30 miles.
Hurricanes are most...
40 miles.
Sorry?
40. Isn't 40 miles the tropical storm status?
Yep. Hurricanes are most likely to strengthen over which terrain? Warm, deep oceans, shallow coastal bays, coastal wetlands, or salt flats?
Option A, I think.
Option A. Warm, deep oceans. Final answer.
Yes. Yes, warm, deep ocean.
That's the correct answer for 30 miles per hour. Very good. Rightly so.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to do a spoiler. How well did you do last time? I can't even remember.
Well, I reached hurricane status probably last time.
You think you got to hurricane status? And is that your target this time around? Or you think you can get further?
Current target is to reach at least tropical storm status.
Alright.
And
Tropical
then
storm.
I'll think out.
Alright, okay, here we go. Next question. Hurricane Larry struck which region in 2021? Was it Florida, Texas, Newfoundland, or New Jersey?
Okay, can I use any lifeline?
Lifeline. Okay, 13 seconds on the clock. Which lifeline would you like to use?
Okay, so I have 50-50, flip the question, and what are the other two? Risk and...
The half-time lifeline, where we move on to the next question, but time limits are halved, or the dreaded risk lifeline, where we invite someone else to take your place and answer the question. If they're incorrect, then you move on, but if they're correct, they steal your show. Bit of a
what about
nuclear
the flip
option,
the question? Flip the question.
Flip the question. Okay, well, I actually wasn't expecting that. I don't have a... Do I have a question ready? I'm sure we'll have one somewhere. And let's go with our next question then, which has really messed me up a bit here, actually.
Come on, ask me any easy question.
Only whatever comes up next. Here is the next question at the same status for 35 miles per hour. Here it is. Which of these 2021 storms reached major hurricane status? Was it Anna, Larry, Peter, or Wanda?
Larry, I guess.
Larry? Final answer. I like how those questions were related. Final answer, it is the right answer for 35 miles per hour, you did say. Which means that we are one away from tropical storm status, but unfortunately I have no questions left at that difficulty, so I'm going to have to go up one already, which makes it quite unusual. Bear in mind, you will only have 20 seconds for this. Best of luck. And you can walk away at any time. If it is too difficult, you can still walk away. We won't want you going with nothing. I just want to make completely sure of that, okay? You can still win nothing at the moment unless you get the next question right. Here it is. In 1989, Cyclone Orson was a very powerful storm which struck which country? Australia, Indonesia, Mauritius, or India?
Sorry, I want to use lifeline again.
Alright, which lifeline?
Okay, so what I have? 50,
we
50,
still have the half-time lifeline, which guarantees
what
50-50 and
risk.
The risk lifeline.
Okay. I think I should reach the tropical storm status, so 50-50 risk and another is...
And the half-time lifeline, which moves you on to the next question. But it halves your time limits for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
You going for it?
Yep.
Alright, well it guarantees you the 40-mile-an-hour status, which I think you were looking for, and that is the wrong slide. We already got to 35, but now we're on 40. Oh dear. There we go. Yeah, so we got there in the end. Even the technical people got there in the end. 40 miles per hour. Alright, well that is something. You'll walk away with at least 40 miles per hour, and that's $40 as well. The questions get a bit more difficult. You still have 2 lifelines available. The 50-50 and the risk lifeline. Don't forget though that your time has been halved, so you only have 15 seconds for these next questions. And of course you can walk, although there's no point doing that on the first question of this slot. And here is your next question, which will get us to 50 miles per hour. As soon as I get it racked up, here it is. Cyclone Kiar was a strong Arabian Sea cyclone in which year? Was it 2010, 2019, 2020, or 2021?
It's going to be 2019.
Well, one that's in your neck of the woods there. Are you sure?
Yep.
That is the right answer. We're finally getting somewhere. 50 miles per hour. Excellent.
Thank you.
Let's just hope that every other question is for the Indian Ocean.
That won't ever happen. Yeah, it happened in last time I did hurricane status. There are many questions from Indian Ocean.
Alright, this one is for 60 miles per hour. Best of luck. What was the second strongest storm in the 2016 Atlantic hurricane season? Was it Gaston, Nicole, Otto, or Colin?
Okay, so I want to use the 50-50 lifeline.
You want to use the 50-50. Okay, I can tell you that it is either, and you'll have 22 sorry, not 22. You'll have only 7 seconds, okay? It is either Gaston or Nicole. Time starts now.
Gaston, I think.
Final answer.
Yeah.
You've gone with the final answer, knowing that you could have walked away at 50. Or trying the luck for 60. You've gone for Gaston. Trin. It's the wrong answer. It was Nicole. It was Nicole. That was the right answer. Nicole was a Category 4 with I think 130 mile an hour winds, and Gaston was a mid to high end, I think it was mid Category 3. Well, you got the tropical storm status. People have gone with nothing before, so you're not one of those. You do get 40 miles per hour and 40 USD and a ticket to the final on Saturday, the all-in event, and who knows, you may even get your hands on a GoPro 11. Any thoughts before we finish, Trin?
Well, I thought one there that it could be Nicole, but well, I heard a Gaston name very, so I go with Gaston.
Yeah.
I went with Gaston.
I can understand that.
But okay, I didn't hear about that. People didn't even reach tropical storm status. That's an easy thing. You can get there by using lifeline.
A while ago. To be fair, it hasn't actually happened on games where there's been actual prize money. It used to be when we did it for fun. But yeah, it has happened before. Trin, thanks for joining us. It's been great having you with us, and at least you got something out of it, and there's still a future yet. More Super Cyclone Challenge episodes throughout the week. But that's it from us for now, and we are going to be finishing the night here as well on Hurricane Week Day 2. There's loads more really exciting stuff coming up. I know that maybe not many people were watching tonight for obvious reasons with the tornado outbreak that's currently going on, and we had a few PDS warnings during this stream as well. You can head over to the US channel. They're covering it live right now if you want to go there. But here at Force 13 HQ, we're calling it a night, and we'll see you with the next part of our Top 100 series. More fun stuff, game shows, animations, and all that jazz. Tomorrow night at the same time, 5 PM Eastern. But from here, our team, well, it's a good night from us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great week.